Alrighty. It says we're live.
We are live.
This is the sound check portion of the show, people. Let us know how we sound.
Yes.
We go live.
Sounds. All the sounds.
Sounds are good.
Yes. Well, words are good. Sounds are bad. We want words.
Right.
Not necessarily sounds. Excuse me.
So, yes, please let us know how we sound.
Jason is a funny Jason.
Yeah, I am something. I've got an appointment with my trainer tomorrow, too. If I'm hungover when I go and see him.
In the morning?
No, in the evening at least. But dude, he kicked the shit out of me on Saturday.
Nice.
Yeah, it was something. Anyway, we can hear how we sound. Let us know, people. All right. Big Lovin says we sound good. And we know how much Dave loves tank tops.
Oh, I love it. It's not that tank top.
Right. Oh, I should have fucking worn it. Oh, as one last jab at Dave. Should have worn the pink tank top.
It can stay right there. It's fine.
Yeah. He's got quite the ensemble these days.
Yeah, he does. All right, there's our confirmation click from Bronco Fest.
All right. All is well then.
Yes.
All right, cool.
Got some doodads, got some gizmos and widgets.
Yeah, man. Oh, let me get this up on my iPad. That's the whole reason why I brought it in here.
We checked the USB, right?
For the audio.
Yes.
I mean, yes, but now you've got me questioning it. Yes, it is good. It's always something with this fucking show. We didn't think of a toast.
You didn't think of a toast.
Fuck. All right. What are we going to do here? I got
it. Huge echo. What?
Really? Are you serious? Or please let us know. So we don't want to start going for real. If we have any audio, are we in an empty hallway? Fucking hell. All right, hang on. Go into the settings, audio, USB audio, speakers. Speakers don't matter. Echo. Fucking hell. All right. For both of us?
Yeah, so both of us are just him.
All right.
Yep. No.
Your mic is muted on your laptop, right?
It might not be. Hang on. Why would we sound good initially, then that suddenly be a thing? So, all right. How about now?
How about now? How about now? Is it good now? What is that?
I wanted to hear it. Sounds good to me.
Well, I mean, you're listening to it on a speaker of a phone. All right, Lunar Girl says it's better.
Sounds good to me. That's what it was. It was the mute.
Oh, you weren't muted. Okay,
right? Because
that would make sense.
When I dropped out of the studio and re-entered, I never muted.
Gotcha.
So see, this is why we do the sound check, people.
Exactly. All right.
You ready?
I think so.
You got a toast?
I do.
Okay. You've got ice. You got your drink.
Yeah. Why do I feel like something's missing?
Got your notes.
Yep. Oh, this or that.
Ah.
Got to get that queued up.
Ah.
It was a good one, too.
It was a good one.
Yep. I actually had a tough time with some of these answers. All right. You ready, Freddie?
Yep.
All right. Give us a countdown, and we'll get going.
Do we just want a generic one? Or do we want Gen X POV? It doesn't matter.
Just go. To new beginnings.
New beginnings. That was a cop-out.
But with new beginnings, some things must end.
That's right.
So with that, hello, everyone, and welcome back to All Things Star Wars, the greatest Star Wars podcast in the galaxy. I'm Mr. Jason Roskam. With me here each and every single week, the Darth Vader to my Palpatine, Dave Martin. Hello, Dave.
Hello, Jason.
How are you?
I am present.
Yes, I can see this.
I am here physically and somewhat mentally.
And speaking of which, sidebar. So if you're watching us on YouTube, right, you can see us. We've got the two screens. We're in the same room.
Right.
But we've got the two split screens because of the way we wanted to kind of film the show and everything. Right. And my friend who watched us last week, she's like, "Are you guys in the same room? Because it looks real, but it doesn't." She's like, "It's very strange the way it looks on the YouTube." I'm
right.
Like, yeah, no, we're in the same room.
Otherwise, that's an amazing amount of pops to like have that many pops in one room and then this many pops in another one.
Yeah,
that'd be a lot of pops.
That would be. So
there is a lot of pops regardless.
Oh yeah. And that's not going to change.
No, it isn't.
All right.
It makes my nipples hard just looking at it.
So
Billy.
So pivoting away from that, what are we talking about this week, Dave?
Well, this week we're going to address the Gina Carano issue.
Yeah. So this went down over a month ago now.
Yeah. So we've had plenty of time to let it simmer.
Yep. Which I think it was necessary.
Yes, I think there's definitely some gestation that had to happen with our responses, and fitting enough that we're going to address this with our beloved franchise as we start to close the book on. Well, we're going to close the book on a particular title,
yes,
and then open up to a new one.
Yeah,
and yet so much will change, but nothing will change.
Right? Yeah, the names will change, but the players will remain the same.
Sure.
Something like that. But either way, we'll get into all of this as we get going. But in the meantime, we have a segment that we've adopted for our podcast lately called This or That. It's been a very popular... sorry, already getting distracted by the chat. A very popular segment here on the show, mostly on Gen X POV, but we're implementing it here in this last episode of All Things Star Wars.
Yes.
And it's called This or That.
Yes.
Where our social media director...
Yes.
Okay. I think I used correspondent last week and I got lambasted for it.
Right. It's director.
Yeah. So our social media director puts up a poll every weekend where she gives you two options and you pick one or the other and we go over the results here on the show.
Yep.
So obviously, being a Star Wars week, she did a Star Wars related poll and this was a good one. And this is going to bring up some good discussion, I think.
It was a good one. And unfortunately, I didn't get to take it live.
Oh,
yeah.
Dave.
So we'll get to that when we get to my weeks. I have looked at it since, though.
You're fucking killing me, man.
It's okay.
All right.
You don't need my answers in this. I'm going to respond now.
All right. So Dave is doing it live.
Yeah.
As
per usual. I told you I looked at it, so I know what the things are.
All right. So the first one was the prequels or the sequels.
Right.
And the prequels won 76% to 24%. This was a fairly easy choice for me. I picked the prequels.
Yeah.
But if The Last Jedi hadn't been such a fucking fart in the wind, then it would have been a much harder choice. But because one of these movies was so fucking terrible and completely changed my view of Star Wars forever, Sorry, hopefully that's better. Anyway, because of The Last Jedi, it was really easy for me to pick the prequels, especially after last year when you and I kind of revisited the prequels and we did a
Mhm.
deeper look into that era of Star Wars, and it was good, and it made them better, especially Phantom Menace, because I know we shit on that for the longest time.
Yeah.
But in hindsight now, especially with some of the good stuff that Disney has actually done with the extended canon, made the prequels better and made that era better.
Dude, so the prequels was an easy choice for me as well.
Mm.
Like you said, Last Jedi kind of dilutes the product for the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
But I think as we get further away from the prequel trilogy and you stop hyper focusing on like Hayden Christensen's performance or the dialogue and some of the other things, and you just think about the story as it's being portrayed, like where we are in the life of these characters. And I think it's great.
Yeah.
I think it was underappreciated during our time. And quite frankly, I'm going to say that I think the next generation, the Y generation or the millennials that they grew up with the prequels.
Yeah.
And I think their love and defense of the prequels, the same way that we defend the original trilogy, has endeared me more towards the fucking prequels. Because I'm seeing it from their perspective is like, this is our Star Wars.
Yeah.
Because it's the prequels. So while they're defending it, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, good on them. Good on them. I can appreciate that.
It is kind of funny too, because we really started all things Star Wars with quite a bit of hate for the prequels, episodes 1 and 2. And over time, if you listen to all of the shows, you'll see that we slowly started to come around. And I think, yeah, that's really shown. And again, it had the direction of George Lucas. Even though he can't write dialogue for shit or direct for shit, he's got great visions.
Yep. I'm gonna talk about George here when we talk about Gina a little bit later.
Okay, so that's that. Next one was, do you identify as Sith or Jedi? This actually was a lot closer than I thought. Sith won 52% to 48%.
It should have been way more loaded to the Sith.
Yeah,
way more.
Fucking easy. I pick Sith for sure.
Right. As he's wearing a Rebellion t-shirt, by the way, or a tank top.
You just need to stop. Different reference. But either way, yeah, no, the Sith are way fucking cooler. Yeah. Especially, again, as you get into Legends material, the Bane trilogy and shit like that.
Well, it's honestly, it's that passiveness of the Jedi's like creed and how they use the Force compared to...
And you can't fuck! Like, who's going to join them?
Well,
you can join us and be noble, but you can't fuck.
Yeah, no.
Bye, motherfucker.
According to Yoda, because there was nobody to fuck Yoda, so he's like, you know what? Nobody's fucking. Nobody's fucking. I can't fuck. Nobody's fucking. It's bad.
Yeah. So anyway, that's that. The next one, which spirit animal do you pick? Porgs or Ewoks? Ewoks won pretty handily.
Yeah.
80% to 20%.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm not a huge Ewok fan.
Oh, we know.
But yeah, Ewoks.
Which, sidebar, did you see that they added the Ewok movies to Disney Plus?
I did. Bronco Fett actually mentioned it. Like I'm assuming because he mentioned in the chat that he binge watched all of them.
Oh yeah,
on Disney Plus.
I watched the first one not long after it came out.
Okay,
on Disney Plus, because I have so many strong memories, and maybe one day we'll go back and we'll actually talk about it. I'll make you watch it, and we'll see. I will say though, in hindsight, probably doesn't hold up as well as I had imagined it would.
Oh, really? You think?
Because I haven't seen it in a good 15 years or so, and I'm like, ooh, man, this may not be as good as I remember.
Yeah.
But either way, I picked Ewoks because honestly, I know we had a lot of reservations about the Porgs going into The Last Jedi, but that was the least of our problems going into that fucking movie. The Porgs were fine.
And honestly, the Porgs weren't the problem.
No, not at all. No, it had far larger problems going on.
Do I have a pork pop up here? I don't think I do. Might have to remedy that.
I thought you did, but maybe not.
I don't. It's tough to.
We're looking through the Sacred Jedi pops, and he's got like fucking 1,000 on our wall.
There is over 100.
It's kind of hard to pinpoint certain things.
Anyway.
But regardless, speaking of collectibles, what a segue into the next part of this or that. best collectible, Pops or Black Series figures. Now, we obviously know what your answer is going to be. We probably know what my answer is going to be too.
All right. Well, listen. So here's the thing.
Mhm.
Obviously, there's an obsession with Pops, right? And right now, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit when we get into the other stuff, is that Pops are they have value, like they're currently trending with value.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the Black Series. Like, so me as a kid, like playing with the figures and then having the amazing level of detail in these figures.
Yeah.
As far as like a collectible goes, the Black Series has it. Like, I love the Pops. I really do.
They display well.
Yeah, I really like them. They're like, these neat representations of these characters.
Yeah.
But that's a representation of the character. The fucking Black Series is the fucking character.
Yeah.
It's the character 6 inches tall. So Black Series to me is the better collectible. Like I said, not to take anything away from my Pops. I love the Pops.
Yeah.
Obviously.
But
yeah, the Black Series is
a
better collectible.
And I tell you what, I'm gonna make this declaration right now. One of these days I'm gonna have some fucking grandkids. And I'm going to try my hardest to get those grandkids into Star Wars.
Right.
And if this works, then me and the grandkids are probably going to be buying a lot of Black Series figures and opening them and actually playing with them.
Yeah.
And I so look forward to it. My kids are past the point where I can do that with them.
Yeah.
So I'm looking to the next generation.
Yeah. Me too. I don't want them right now. I want to see my kids. Well, no, look, I want to see my kids get to a point where they're stable financially and everything else, so that when they have kids, they can really enjoy them. You want that to happen.
Is anybody ever ready for fucking kids financially, mentally? You're never.
I don't know.
Ready.
Some of these people that are having kids in their 40s, man, I think that's why they did so.
And and I bet you those motherfuckers are all like, "Fuck, why didn't I do this when I was 20?"
Yeah, probably. You can't maintain that level, that energy level.
Fuck no. That's having kids is a young man's game. Period.
Yeah,
and we're past that. Yeah. I couldn't imagine having a baby at this age.
Oh, fuck no, dude. There's no fucking way.
Yeah,
there's no way.
So anyway, moving on. And I said, did I say Black Series won 58% to 42%? If I didn't,
yes, you did. You started with that.
I was kind of surprised at the results of this next one. Best parody, Family Guy or Robot Chicken. I went with Robot Chicken because I thought, not taking anything away from Family Guy, that stuff was so well done. Seth MacFarlane is fucking brilliant. But I like something about Robot Chicken really resonates with me, and just how like silly and outrageous it is, and the Palpatine character
right
throughout all of those Star Wars Robot Chickens.
Honestly, there's two factors why I would pick Robot Chicken. Mm-hmm. One is the Palpatine character.
Yeah, go
for Palpatine. Mm-hmm. Like that. Honestly, that makes the whole fucking thing.
Go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself. Fuck you, stripy bag.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fact we have a signed copy of the Robot Chicken Star Wars parody right here DVD. In the studio.
Yeah, that's true.
Courtesy of my cousin Frederick Martin, who's probably not in the chat yet because he's probably still at work.
Yeah,
but yeah, like we have our own little piece of history with Robot Chicken, and yeah, the Family Guy is fucking great. Like all the 3 episodes, and it's fun to watch. Like in those characters,
the production quality is there too.
Yeah, like because the music and everything there, it's really really good. Mm-hmm. But the Robot Chicken is it's funnier. The one-liners in there are amazing. The fucking Padme fucking Dirty Dancing scene with the fucking dumping on the water and shit. It's doing stuff with the toys that you would be like, oh, this is fucking great.
Yep. So, now, unfortunately, despite our opinion, Family Guy won pretty handily, 79% to 21%. And again, I'm not taking anything away from Family Guy with my choice, because again, those were perfectly done. Just I would prefer Robot Chicken, but that's just me. Moving on, best droid. Was this even a question? L3 from Solo versus K2SO from Rogue One. So the 2 spin-off movies and the droids from each one. Yeah, K2SO for sure.
Yeah.
It's like not even close.
It's not
him honestly, or the fucking woke droid from
Solo. Look, there's a lot of bad about that Solo movie.
Yeah.
K2SO is a great character. He's a great character.
Yeah.
So I 100%. In fact, you know what's funny is that fucking Inigo Montoya fucking Star Wars joint that's supposed to come out at some point.
Oh yeah, Diego Luna.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, Cassian Andor.
There you go. If KTOSO is going to have some sort of prominence in that show, I might actually watch it.
He better.
Otherwise, it's an unwatchable product.
All right, we'll see. And we'll talk about that as we go along, too, as we get into our future with how we're going to approach Star Wars from here on out. All right. Who do you love to hate and hate to love? Kylo Ren versus Darth Maul. Again, I feel like this was kind of a no-brainer, and Darth Maul won pretty handily, 83% to 17%.
Yeah.
Even I picked Darth Maul, even though I don't hate the character of Kylo Ren.
No.
Talking about the sequels, he is not an issue that I had with the sequel trilogy.
No, I agree. Maul is Maul,
but Maul's Maul.
Maul is Maul. I mean, that's for the guy. He's got Boba Fett-esque, like, for the amount of screen time he had and the level of fucking fandom for that guy.
Yeah,
it's epic.
Yeah, because like even long before they brought him back in Clone Wars and all of that,
yeah,
he had such a huge following. Everybody fucking loved him.
Yeah, I mean, go to Sweet Studios and check out his Maul tattoo. It's fantastic, and it's such a unique figure too.
Yeah,
like from a character perspective. Yeah, that was. But again, I'm with you. Kylo Ren was not one of my problem things. You know, it just wasn't.
Yep. All right. Favorite badass chick. We're mostly going from like Clone Wars animated era here. Bo-Katan versus Ahsoka. Yeah.
Did Bo-Katan get any votes?
She got 10% of the vote.
Okay.
So Ahsoka won 90%.
Well, listen, Bo-Katan's a good character. Not taking anything away, but up against Ahsoka Tano, forget it.
Yeah, no, it's not even a question.
Ahsoka Tano wins. Like, honestly, I think we've talked about it before. Ahsoka Tano wins the comeback fucking award for being one of the most annoying fucking characters in Clone Wars. And then turning into like, holy shit, we can't have Star Wars without her. Right? Talk about the turnaround of a character.
Yeah, no, they did a phenomenal job with her. And I put a lot of that on Dave Filoni. So this is a good one. Who do you hate the least? Admiral Holdo or Jar Jar? Jar Jar.
Jar Jar.
I never thought I'd vote for Jar Jar in any kind of a poll like this, but I'll take Jar Jar 100 times out of 100 over fucking Admiral Purple Hair.
Hey, fuck you, Holdo.
Yeah.
Right here. I got you, purple hair, bitch.
For those of you listening to the audio, Dave is flipping off his pop figure of Holdo.
Yeah, it's who sent us that? Which troll sent us the Holdo figure? I can't remember. I feel terrible.
Somebody sent us the figure?
Yeah. You don't think I bought that, do you?
Oh, that's right. Who did send that to us?
I don't know. Somebody, Jamie, pull that up.
Yeah, pull that up. Yeah. All right.
Thank you, whoever sent it, but fuck you.
Yeah. All right.
Do you like how I have Holdo right next to Cara Dune too?
That's kind of fucked up. All right. So who will save Star Wars?
Scissoring. It's for scissoring purposes.
Right. Who will save Star Wars from the wrath of Kennedy? Will it be Dave Filoni or Jon Favreau? And I picked Favreau, and I picked him strictly for this. And we're going to get into this as we get into like how we're approaching Star Wars from here on out. But Favreau's an outsider. He's not one of these ingrown fucking Lucasfilm people. I love Dave Filoni. He hasn't done anything yet to fucking piss me off the way pretty much the rest of Lucasfilm has. So there's still hope for him, but I also feel like he might eventually succumb to the will of the fucking woke left and the cunt Kennedys of the world.
I think that Filoni has a better handle on Star Wars. Just Star Wars itself. Like,
oh, of course.
As somebody who's developed so much canon at this point, woke notwithstanding, I mean, I don't see that. I don't see that as projecting out for him. for Star Wars, for Filoni in particular.
And by the way, apparently it was a big Swede
Yes,
who gave you the holdo.
Fuck holdo. No, I'm on the Filoni boat, man. I think Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau together are what make the Mandalorian what it is, but I don't know that Favreau makes the Mandalorian without Filoni. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
I think Filoni is what's going to keep the heart of Star Wars at least somewhat close to what the franchise as we know it and what we love about it.
Right.
Because I think he has the best chance to do that.
Yeah. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, he's kind of one of the last people from the George era, from the Lucas era.
Yeah.
That's still kind of hanging on.
Right.
So, yeah. So anyway, that is the end of This or That. So thank you again to our social media director, Luna Girl.
Yes, thank you
for putting that together. And follow us at GenXPOV on Instagram and at All Things Star Wars Pod
yes,
on Instagram.
And
you
should check out at Sidebar Cantina as well,
because that might be relevant.
Yeah,
at some point
in about an hour and a half, probably.
So anyway, moving on. I wanted to throw in one little piece of Star Wars news. Just it's more of a discussion point because normally in the flow of All Things Star Wars, this is where we'd have some news. But instead, Disneyland, because we're still in the middle of this fucking COVID global pandemic, whatever, they've been closed for a year now.
Right.
And they're finally reopening at the end of this month, April 30th, which, fucking Galaxy's Edge had not been open for that long. When the fucking pandemic and all that shit started. So at least from the California perspective, from the California park, Galaxy's Edge wasn't even open for a year before we all got fucking shut down.
Right.
So they're reopening at the end of this month. It's Star Wars related. There's a talk of a lot of changes being made to the Galaxy's Edge during the downtime. So we'll kind of see what happens. And I know you had mentioned potentially going down to Florida.
So we ended up having to cancel that.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, there was a timing issue. So we're not going to do that just yet.
Okay.
We'll get down there, but it's not anytime soon. Probably not this year. In fact, we basically turned that money into that we would have spent doing that into home improvement projects.
Always a good thing.
Yeah, it gets some stuff done around the house and take a less expensive vacation. So,
and it's a good investment.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's good. It's all around good. COVID in particular, you look at the images down in Florida and it's like in Florida there is no COVID.
Right. I remember during the Super Bowl when they were celebrating after fucking Tampa won, people like crowding the streets like it was fucking New Orleans, not a single mask inside.
Oh yeah, no, and spring break down there has been the same way. So and you know what? I'm vaccinated, so I really don't care.
Same.
It doesn't really affect me, but at the same time, I'm just like, oh God, I don't. It's that initial surge, right? It's like you don't want to be the first person necessarily to go somewhere because there's all those people. You kind of want that to thin out a little bit. And that's kind of where I'm at. I'm like, I'd rather all that crowd thin out and like get back to like normal levels because I'm not a crowd guy anyway.
Right.
And going down there during spring break with every other swinging dick, no, I'm not really interested in that. So it works out.
Yeah. So speaking of that, so Kristen and I have been talking and we have decided, because, we go out to California every like 3 to 5 years, depending on what our situation is like. And we did this back in 2019. We talked about it here on the podcast.
Right.
This fucking just phenomenal California vacation that we went on. We did Disneyland for a week, but this was a month before Galaxy's Edge opened.
Right.
The timing couldn't have been shittier. So, but we had a phenomenal time, but it was fucking expensive.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even want to say how much money we spent on that fucking vacation.
Dude, well, because you did it, you stayed on the resort, and that's a lot of the expense. So when we were pricing out, like we were going to Shades of Green. For those of you who aren't familiar, down in Orlando, there's a military only resort, basically. That's in between like I think it's in between the Floridian and the the Polynesian.
I have no idea.
Like it's like but it's right there. Like you walk from the Shades of Green, you go right into in front of the Polynesian, you get on the monorail. Like it's in the middle of everything.
Yeah.
We have the benefit as veterans to be able to stay there, but you
for
have
a reasonable price.
Yeah, it's compared to the cost of what it would have been in the same time frame to stay in one of the fucking Disney properties, like the Disney proper.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even a sixth of a cost.
Oof.
Like, so it was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it would be awesome. Dude, everybody's in the chat today, by the way.
Nice.
Everybody's here.
Welcome,
Thank
everyone.
you. But yeah, like we looking at it, and I was like, fucking, we got to go to Shades of Green. We've been there before. We've been down there a couple of times when we stayed at Shades of Green, and it's perfectly fine. But
sure,
you kind of wanted the Disney experience, whatever. Then you look at the Disney experience price, as you well know, and it's like, oh my god, you do so much other stuff with that money. So
that being said, we've decided we're going to plan a new trip, very similar to the one that we've already been on, for 2 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
So spring of 2023.
Okay.
And we're already starting to put money aside. I think I've already put $600 in a separate savings account.
Right.
And every paycheck, I'm going to be putting more money into this. So 2 years from now, we're going to go on another vacation like that. And quite frankly, this is probably going to be the last big family vacation that we take with all 5 of us, because Rob's graduating from high school in 2 months. And,
Insane.
Adam starts high school this next fall, and then Ben is a year behind him. So 2 years from now, Rob will already be a year and a half removed from high school. Ben and Adam will be in high school, and it's like, that we don't have too many of these big family vacations left in us.
Right.
So we're saving money now. So 2 years from now, spring of 23, we're doing the whole California thing again, spending a week with my family, spending a week at Disney. And Galaxy's Edge will be open at this point, and who knows what else. Like, they've got that whole Marvel fucking section of California Adventure that they're working on.
Right.
So it's going to be big, and that's what we're planning right now.
Nice.
And I'll finally get to see Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah. I'm hoping to see it before then, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yep. So I just wanted to bring that up. And that being said, we ready to move into our weeks?
Yeah. Did you see what Bronco Fett just posted?
No. In a year, maybe. That's perfectly reasonable.
Yeah.
Facts. Bronco Fets and Stonebleeds are both talking about how Rob could start having kids and getting married soon.
Yep.
And that's altogether possible.
Yes, it certainly is.
Yeah. But hey,
trust me.
Again, as we said earlier, I welcome the grandkids, because then we'll play with Black Series figures and
the toys. It's worth it for the toys.
Indeed. So moving into our weeks, I worked this last fucking weekend. I know it feels like I just did it, and I did it again. So I think it was a 2-week break between working weekends this last time.
Yeah.
And it sucks. It's, I feel like I don't have any fucking time to do anything. And I'll talk about it a little bit here when we get into our other bullet points. But dude, it's the same fucking routine every day. And part of that routine, or none of that routine, is like any kind of real leisure activity.
Right.
It sucks. So I bought all this stuff. I mentioned it to you in the studio last week, but I didn't say it on the show. I bought some equipment because I mentioned that I'm planning on trying to do some stuff over YouTube with some retro gaming.
Right.
So I bought these 2 pieces of equipment that essentially are going to let me stream to Twitch or wherever from an old video game console. So I'll be able to hook up my fucking NES, my PS1, whatever it is that I decide to do through these fucking components, and live stream it over Twitch or whatever Google. I haven't quite decided how I want to do it. And I also want to start creating YouTube videos, like,
speed runs and shit like that.
Yeah. Do some like production value and everything. So I have the equipment. That's all here. Now I just need the fucking time to actually set it up and do it.
Yeah.
So, but I'm really getting back into the whole retro gaming thing, and I've already got a whole bunch of ideas in the works.
I love it.
So stay tuned for that.
I love it. Excuse me.
I'm still going to the gym, obviously. If you're watching on the YouTube, I'm still rocking it. But dude, I'm noticing a lot of gains in the gym, strength wise, size wise. I'm seeing the improvement. I'm putting in the work and I'm seeing the improvement, which is great. I like seeing that. But at the same time, I'm fucking tired. I'm tired every waking minute of my fucking existence.
Yeah.
Now, it's from the moment I wake up in the morning, and I'm getting anywhere from 6 to 8 hours of sleep a night, depending on the night and what the work situation is the next morning. But dude, I'm always fucking tired. I'm always just worn out because I'm working my body so much.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's the I don't know, the cost, I guess, of yeah, what is
It
happening?
sounded like a gunshot going
What is
off.
happening? No, I think it was the door. Yeah, you're getting older, dude. You're getting older, and like your recovery time is, if you think about it, because I'm going to talk about my week, like you think about when you're doing something, and as you get older, it takes more time for you to recover. And if you're not really giving your body enough time to recover, you're just always going to be in this kind of fatigue cycle. Which, I mean, you're obviously like you're doing great, right? But like you said, now you're tired, and like your there's no leisure time and everything else. But so it's one of those things where like, hey, I mean, if you're making a choice to like, because you want to see this progression, you see these gains, so you know the good news is that you're seeing it pay off.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely seeing the improvement there,
Right.
and I'm feeling it too. Like strength wise, for instance, I was doing just a couple days ago, I was doing the tricep cable extensions,
right,
with like the V bar. And dude, I bumped my weight up by like 10 pounds and I banged out like fucking 4 sets of 10. I'm like, holy shit.
Nice.
So I noticed just a substantial increase in strength. But yeah, I'm just fucking exhausted.
Yeah.
that's the downfall.
Yep. It's going to, that's the way it's sometimes it just be like that because you're older. I mean, that's what it is. If you were in your 20s, dude, fucking forget it. You could run like this and then fucking get 3 hours of sleep, wake up, and fucking keep doing it. We can't do that in our mid 40s, man. It's just not.
Sadly,
it's not feasible.
Last thing for my week. So I've mentioned before that Kristen and I are planning a Vegas vacation.
Right.
We're going the first week of May, and we're watching Vegas themed movies in preparation. We've already watched Vegas Vacation, which didn't quite hold up as much as I had remembered it from back in the day.
That movie was never a good movie. I'm sorry.
I enjoyed it the first time I watched it back in like 2001, 2002, or whenever the hell. But yeah, no, does not hold up very well. But it at least gave us a good shot of all the Vegas sites and some of the Vegas theme. And then we watched Ocean's 11 a couple of days ago. The good one, the George Clooney, Brad Pitt one. What a fun fucking movie. I mean, it's not going to win any Oscars, but it was such a fun movie. Very enjoyable.
Well, there were so many big names in it too, right?
Yeah.
And it was all big names kind of sharing the screen equally. Like nobody was like super dominating in it.
Yeah.
Julia Roberts looking at like her most Julia Roberts.
Yeah, she looked good in this movie.
Yeah. So it's a good flick, man.
Yeah.
Even Ocean's 12 is the second one, right?
Well, I see. That's the thing. I never saw any of the sequels. Never saw 12 or 13. I heard 12 was terrible and 13 was okay. And then I definitely didn't see the fucking woke all girl Ocean's, vagina or whatever it was called.
I didn't even know that was a thing. Honestly.
You didn't?
No.
The Ocean's 8 that came out a few years ago.
Ocean's 8?
Yeah.
Why 8?
Well, it was 8 women. It was an all female reboot, a la that shitty Ghostbusters from 2016.
That's so. Have you ever heard I think it's it's not Bill Burr that does the skit. It's Louis C.K. And he does a skit where he talks about. No, maybe it is Bill Burr. I don't even know. Anyway, it's one of those fuckers that talks about like how you couldn't do Ocean's 11 with a bunch of girls. It was like, like only you could wear that color or some shit like that. And they'd be so catty with each other that they would never be able to do a heist. It's Bill Burr. It was a Bill Burr skit.
I'll have to.
Broads doing Ocean 11. Like they can never pull it off because they'd be too catty with each other.
Okay, well, Sweet Studios is chiming in. He said 12 wasn't great, 13 was good, and he said Ocean's 8 actually wasn't bad. So,
okay, I'm not going to see it, so I just have to take your word for it.
Yeah. So anyway, that was my week in a nutshell. What have you been up to?
I haven't, honestly. So we talked about a pre-show. I went offline this weekend.
Yeah.
I
noticed you were very quiet.
Yeah, so I've been staying off of social media. And some of it's for purely personal reasons. Some of it's just because I'm trying to take that time that I'd be spending doing social media stuff and actually do other things.
Like productive things, as opposed to wasting your fucking time with these fucking Aspies all over fucking Facebook and Twitter.
And I'm not, it's not like I'm doing something productive like Luna Girl is, where I'm actually like helping the show or anything else.
Right.
I'm fucking looking at dumb videos and shit like that. So I unplugged for the weekend, and it was kind of nice. I answered the phone for the most part when people called, but otherwise I really didn't pay attention to text messages or anything else. And I got a lot of shit done this weekend.
That's good.
I think I was telling you I woke up late. I was at Lodge on Friday night and stayed up late and woke up late. I was like, I slept in. It was Saturday. I had Saturday off. So I took advantage of it and I slept in. And I woke up and fucking immediately like hit the ground running. Went to the fucking DMV, got my car inspected since it hadn't been inspected and I was going to get in trouble. So
that's all right. Mine's overdue. It was due back in November. Fuck it.
Yeah, they're going to get you at the gate.
They haven't said shit at the gate.
Yeah, they're going to.
Whatever.
They said something to me at the gate. That's what prompted me to do it. Anyway, so I got that done, and it was, it wasn't a super long wait or anything, so I was pleasantly surprised. Plus, it's the middle of the month, and usually that shit gets real tied up. Yeah. See, in New Jersey, for those of you who are listening out of state or whatever, in New Jersey, you don't have to pay for your inspection. It's state run.
Yeah, it's free at least, thank God.
Yeah, but you have to, depending on if you're trying to go early or late in the month, fucking forget it, because there's like crazy long lines to go through the inspection station. And Jersey inspections back when I was starting to drive were so much different than they are now. They used to they put your shit up on a goddamn what the fuck is that called? Oh shit, I can't.
The thing where they lift it up.
Well, yeah, they spin the wheels.
Oh.
They would check the brakes, they do the stop and all that other shit. Full up inspection, kind of what PA you have to pay to have done in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't do any of that shit now. Like, you pull up, they fucking plug the code reader in, make sure your fucking check engine light isn't on, and then that's pretty much it. They check the high beams, they check the turn signals, plug this fucking thing in, and then you're done.
Wow.
So, and if you have a newer car and the check engine light's not on, 9 times out of 10, you're going to pass.
Sweet.
So it's pretty fucking easy.
So I need to do that.
You do need to do that, and do the one in Mount Holly, because that one's usually pretty empty.
Okay.
So yeah, I got that done, and then I had a bunch of run around to do. I rented a tiller, because
really
we had
making a garden.
Well, also yes. We had a small garden, and it's kind of like my father-in-law's thing. Like, he tends to, like, we had this like little area that we grew a bunch of stuff in last year. But that's his thing. He goes in and putters around with that. We doubled that in size this year, mainly because I had that pool. You remember on your Finney trip how I bought a pool like from Walmart when we were flying over the Atlantic.
Yeah, is that the same pool that me and the family came over and swam in?
Yeah. Same pool.
Yeah.
Well, I got rid of the end of last season because, quite frankly, it was scary how easily like it tore open when I started to take it down. Like, we're super, super lucky we didn't have like 8,000 gallons of water in our fucking house.
Yeah.
So we had that area though because we dug it out and we leveled it, we have sand and all that shit, but now there's like this hole in the yard.
Yeah.
So in the dirt's fucking, like, good dirt, topsoil is fucking expensive. Like, you can probably get free fill from a lot of places, but to like get grass growable fucking dirt, it's expensive. So I'm like, you know what, I have some undulations in the fucking yard that I bet you if I take the tiller and fucking rotate that shit out, I can like flatten out some of that area and maybe we don't need so much dirt. So I rent this fucking tiller, and let me tell you, it is way more work than you realize. So
I've used a tiller before, like a motorized tiller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had used one when I was a kid, and I thought like, and it fucking worked me over pretty good, but it was a big machine, and I wasn't nearly as heavy as I am now. So I'm like, oh, I'm heavier now. I'm stronger. It won't kick my ass as much. I didn't have any issues controlling the thing, but like afterwards, like I have the Lego hands, right? We've talked about this many times on the podcast, and I have the Lego hands normal things, but you're like holding the clutch down to fucking do the thing, and I'm like pulling all this thing, and I ran it for a good 2.5 hours, and my shit is just fucking like the claw because of, like just the issues I have with my hands. So it kicked my ass pretty good. But I didn't have to buy dirt. Like I worked all of that over, and we put grass seed down, and yeah, it was a lot of fucking work, but it kicked my ass, but it was worth it. It was worth it. So saying that, after getting my ass kicking, I was going to start going to the gym today.
Oh, really?
So I went, and so I think I talked about it before on the show. I go to this place called Royal Fitness. It's in Barrington. It's down the road a little bit.
Yeah.
And I've been going to that gym on and off since I was in high school.
Oh, okay.
So the place has been around for a long time. It used to have racquetball courts and shit. We used to go, and
I think a coworker of mine goes there now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's a great little gym. It really is. And little in the sense of it's physically smaller, but it also has a lane pool, so you can swim laps. And it's reasonably priced. They give a military discount. And so prior to the Tiller incident, I'm like, you know what? It's coming out of the fucking winter, like out of the winter hibernation, and like wanting to like start working out again and shit like that.
Oh, yeah.
And I was actually going when I had retired. Like I was doing the gym. I
remember you talking about that. Yeah.
And I got to a point where, like with the retirement and some other medical stuff, like, all right, well, we're going to put that on hold, and then we'll come back to it. So I'm coming back to it. Couldn't start it today though, because it just physically from the weekend, I wasn't recovered enough to actually go out there and not hurt myself.
Right. Plus between work and the podcast, where were you going to have the time?
First thing in the morning. That's
when I do it.
It's an early morning thing for me. Because if I try and do it in the evening, it doesn't work, because I have a whole day of dealing with fucking my normal pain cycle. Like, and by the end of that, the motivation just isn't there. So I got to go first thing.
Yep.
And
though I will tell you, because that's what I do. I'm up at 3:45 every morning.
Yeah, I'm not getting it.
And I'm at the fucking gym, and then I head straight to work. But I tell you, at the end of the day, when I'm driving home at 4:30 in the evening, it can be fucking tough as I'm going down 295 to just like fucking stay awake.
Yeah. Because
at that point in the day, I'm already like, oh, Jesus, I'm nodding off.
So my routine is I don't have to be in work as early as you do.
Oh.
Because on the active duty side, the hours are a lot closer to banker's hours than on your side of the base.
That must be nice.
Yeah. So I can get up at 5:30 and be in the gym from 6 to 7:30 and shower, still be on base, and be on time. So it's nice. It's nice to actually like not get my fucking dick kicked in for a 7 a.m. show every day for no fucking reason whatsoever.
Right.
Anyway. So yeah, I probably won't be posting like Jason, because like I said, unplugging for the weekend was super nice. Staying off of the drama book and the rest of the social media stuff was actually a little bit healthier, I think. So, but I log into Sidebar Cantina because that's where our bread and butter is, and that's where our peeps are. So I keep going into that. But yeah, if you don't see me online, that's why. I'm making a deliberate effort, and you've done the same thing. It kind of goes in cycles where you kind of have to back off of it for a little bit.
You need to. It's for your sanity alone.
Yeah. So, and one of the things that that I missed by not being on Facebook is a friend of mine in the squadron that I'm in now, he just recently retired, and found out through somebody today that he had stage 4 cancer. like just recently, like was in the hospital and all this stuff. And, you know, he's our age, you know.
It's fucking crazy, man. And that's the thing. Like us Gen Xers, as we're getting to this point in our lives, we're starting to see our own mortality.
Yeah, we're seeing our mortality, and I think it's still like, so there's this microcosm, right, of military people, because to be honest, the stuff that we need to do to maintain a certain level of physicality and stress and everything else, it ages you.
Yeah,
it does. Like, and I will take the Pepsi challenge against any other motherfucker that says that it doesn't.
Yeah,
because I'm here to tell you it does. And you know, that doesn't mean that somebody else's job isn't hard also, but that I can tell you that career military, there's a reason there's so few of us, because it's a really tough thing to do for decades.
Yeah. And you know, it's kind of a cliche, but at the same time, it happens all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Somebody retires from the military and they're dead in less than 5 years.
Yeah, we've seen it a lot.
Yeah. More times than I even want to think about, quite frankly.
So yeah, and it sucks. And God, fuck cancer, man. It was a real fucking, obviously, you know, it's a kick in the dick for our own mortality and shit like that. And obviously it's kicking dick for him, because, you know, you just retire and you're like, you know, he's got younger kids too. So it's like, you know, it's tough, man. And so his name's Tom. He's listened to the show before. He's a Star Wars guy too. Keep fighting a good fight, man.
And we're thinking of you, buddy.
Yeah, man. So last fuck cancer.
Indeed. Yeah. Well, I'll toast to that, in fact. Fuck cancer.
Yep. And that's it. That's it for my week.
All right. I think this is probably a good point to take a break.
I would agree.
Because I've been drinking a lot. And I could, go to the bathroom.
You could.
Relieve myself.
You should.
All right, I will.
Not here in a studio. Outside of the studio.
All right.
Preferably.
Preferably. Whatever you want.
Urine smells, man. It's not something you want to fucking.
Oh, sidebar.
All right.
Okay. Driving home from work one day.
I was gonna say, this is a really weird thing to sidebar from, but okay.
I'm trying to remember what car I was driving. I think this is when I still had the Hyundai Elantra. You remember that? The green one?
Yep.
That I drove for years. I'm driving home from work. I'm not that far from work, but every day when I leave from work, like, I have to piss, right? Some days I do, some days I don't. Some days I'm like, I'll just hold it until I get home, right? This is one of those days where I'm just like, oh, I'll fucking hold it. Driving home, I'm only like 3 or 4 miles past the base. It's a 30-mile fucking commute one way.
Yep.
And my car fucking breaks down. I'm like, fuck. And it breaks down in the middle of this fucking I don't know, this long road that's going up around some farmland and everything before I ever get to the highway. And I'm like, God damn it. And I have to pull over. I call USAA, because when you have insurance through USAA, they have a AAA like service, with roadside assistance and all that. But I have to piss bad, and it's getting worse and worse by the minute. And this tow truck is taking forever to get there,
like they do.
Thankfully, I had some empty water bottles, because I was drinking a lot of like plastic water bottles about this size, and I'm like, I can't fucking hold it anymore. But cars are driving by constantly.
Right.
So I can't just get out and just like piss on the side of the road. No houses, no nothing anywhere. So I piss in one of the fucking water bottles in the car.
Oh my God.
I fucking seal it up, and I'm just like, well, fuck, now what do I do? Because again, I'm in the middle of fucking nowhere. So I'm like, all right, I'll just put it like under the seat, and I'll
oh my God.
And I'll take it out and everything. The guy fucking tows me away. I have to ride in the fucking tow truck with this smelly fuck who like wants to talk about his fucking family and all this other shit. It takes forever. It's like dark. It's like 8 or 9 o'clock at this point. My whole fucking evening is shot. Kristen has to come pick me up at the place where the tow truck driver drops me in the car off. I forget about the fucking urine in the fucking.
Of course you do.
So they fixed my car. I think it was something with my transmission. I had to have my transmission replaced.
Yuck.
I get back in the car, and the whole inside of the car smells like fucking piss. I'm like, what the fuck? Oh, and then I'm thinking about these fucking guys who had to fix my car and fix the transmission in my
Like,
fucking
man,
car.
It smells like fucking piss in here.
And this took place over the course of days.
Man.
You know?
Was it summertime?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So it's like extra ripe. Oh fuck that.
Yeah.
Oh god.
So that was
That's bad.
That was a fun story. Needless to say, I got rid of that car not long after.
Yeah. As you should have.
Yeah.
You got your money's worth out of that launcher, man. You had that thing for years.
Yeah, no, I fully paid it off and then some.
Yeah.
You know, so I drove it for a long time after I paid it off. But all right, we are going to take a very quick break and be right back after this word from our sponsors.
From Jason's sponsors.
Yes. Piss in a bottle.
Pissing in a bottle. You're in for some trouble. Gatorade bottles and hand sanitizer. Look, I have done that. I've had to do it. I've had to piss in a bottle once. Never again. Never again. It was so stressful that, you know what? I'll pull over, fucking open both car doors, and just fucking piss out in the middle of the road if I have to. Fuck it. You know, what's the worst going to happen? Their cops going to come and fucking be like, no, you shouldn't have your dick out in public. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude, this is it. I have a bodily function that I have to fucking perform. It's not like I'm pissing on somebody. You know, I'm not R. Kellying anybody. So fuck you. This has to happen. Because think about it, like when you had kids, right? And the little kids have to go. Like they don't have the oh, I'm gonna push through and fucking make it until I get home. No. They don't. They're like, I have to pee right now. And yeah, so you're like, just fucking stop the car, stand there on the side of the road. That's it. Hey, this is what has to happen. And Luna Girl, you're 100% right. Guys are so fucking lucky in this regard because we can go anywhere and piss. We can. Like, there's no squatting, there's no wiping, there's none of that. We don't have to worry about any of that shit. It's just, this is one of the beauty, like playing golf. You know, it's like, hey, do we wait to the fucking turn at 9 to fucking go to take a leak? No, why would you do that? Not when there's a woods full of fucking trees to go into and piss on. Like, it's ridiculous.
Have you seen Harold and Kumar go to White Castle?
Yeah.
You remember the scene where he went to go take a piss and he's pissing at the bush and then fucking Jamie Kennedy comes over and just stands right next to him and pisses on the bush next to him?
That fucking movie is great. All right, I got to piss.
All right, now Dave's going. All right, yes, boys are lucky. And actually, you know, we haven't heard from Sexist Jason in a while. You know, I mean, boys are better. Like that's really what it boils down to is men are better than women, period. So you can quote me on that. Sorry, Luna Girl, I love you. But, you know, let's just face it. Men are better than women in pretty much every way aside from giving birth, I guess. That is your Sexist Jason moment for the evening. All right, what else is going on? Let me get caught up in the chat here. El Yucateco, yeah, I haven't talked about that, but we're not sponsored by them right now either. You might also notice we're not talking about Podbelly, though we're part of we're still part of the Podbelly network, but the relationship isn't going well. Let's just say that I feel like it's not serving us any benefit, and it's pee on you, piss on you. No, it's really just not giving us any benefits. So we're not really going to spend, you know, several minutes at the beginning of every show talking about Podbelly or El Yucateco for that matter, because we're not currently part of the El Yucateco sponsorship, and Podbelly has done nothing for us.
Right.
You want some ice?
Absolutely. Fuck.
Just reach in.
I'm just gonna.
What are you doing, fucker?
Poured cold water all over my fucking leg.
What were you expecting?
Not to pour cold water on my leg, apparently. No, I did not pee all over myself. On my knee.
You miss Sexist Jason.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Basically talking about how men are so much better than women.
Oh, yes.
All right. Anyway, let me just.
Luna Girl, what were you doing in Harlem? That is fucking great. Do you remember the dung and urine can in survival school?
Oh yeah, I actually shit in that once.
Did you really?
I had to.
Oh my god, dude! So didn't they give you the gouge beforehand to like, you eat all this fucking Pepto-Bismol so you wouldn't shit? No, yeah, dude. They told me to fucking and I didn't shit. I didn't have to, and I did have to pee, and then you have to. So in survival school, right? They put you in a situation where you have a Folgers coffee can, and it's your dung and urine can, and that's where like you're in this little fucking box, right? Which for Jason probably wasn't nearly as bad as it was for anybody that's over 5'8", because it's like you're not squished down like this. Although they did have height adjustments to make it uncomfortable for everybody, but I digress. So there's no way I could have squatted in that fucking thing.
Right.
And so, but I had to pee because we were hydrating. So I fucking peed. And then you're like, you have bags over your heads and they fucking march you out to that fucking, that tube out in the middle of the fucking parade yard there.
Oh yeah. And you got to empty your shit.
You got to pour your dung and urine can into this fucking thing. It's just horrific thing.
Yeah. It's teaching you to survive in captivity if you're captured during war and
all that shit. And oh, by the way, you know what they're not doing right now? They're not doing the woods shit right now because of COVID.
That was the best part. And I'm not an outdoorsy kind of guy.
Right.
But I fucking love that week in the woods. Like I'm more of I'll sit inside my fucking room and play on my computer for a week.
Yeah.
But it was so different from what I was used to, and I actually really enjoyed it.
Did you do it in the summer or when did you do it?
It was in the fall. So yeah, I think it rained once while we were out there.
It was temperate, it wasn't.
It was good temperature.
You didn't have 3 feet of fucking snow on the ground. Yeah,
warm during the days.
Yeah, it was cold and then colder at night.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Thankfully, I went during a really good time of year.
Bitches. Anyway,
regardless,
Ricola.
Just check something really quick, and then we'll get into it.
Supersized peach Snapple, and it was our first road trip as a couple. You can bet your ass it did not use a coffee can and establish mandatory rest stop breaks from then on. Good move. It's a good move. When we're driving out to like State College and Kathy and I, or we're on a long drive, I'm like definitely sensitive to. I have to pee more often than she does. Right. As I've gotten older, I've had to pee more.
I'm kind of in the same boat. Honestly.
And if I hold it for too long, it fucking hurts. It hurts. It gets to a point, it's like, like, so I don't fuck it. I'll take more stops. I don't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
There's no place I have to be. Like, I think all those times is a fucking at being younger Dave. And it's like, oh no, we're not stopping.
Yeah. You just got to get there.
We're fucking nonstop from fucking, Jersey to Baltimore, or, Jersey to fucking North Carolina. No stops for gas only. Not anymore, dude. Fuck that. Like, I actually want to be comfortable while I'm driving as opposed to the whole time going, oh my God.
Yep. Nope, I hear you.
It does keep you a little bit awake, though, when you're like not trying to pee yourself. Like, you're like kegling. Yeah. Anyway.
All right. Moving on.
On with the show.
We ready to get back to it?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, we need another countdown?
We are going to need another countdown. This time the fan is off, so we can actually use that for
word
silence.
All right, ready.
I digress.
Go.
And we're back.
Fucking train.
The train. It wouldn't be the last All Things Star Wars without the train going by, just as we're going into our 30 seconds of silence.
Yep.
So we have a main topic today. Our main topic is broken into 3 segments. The first segment being the addressing of the Gina Carano situation. The second segment is going to be the future of the Dave and Jason show. And the third segment is how we're dealing with Star Wars from here.
Okay.
So, Dave, let's talk about Gina Carano.
Yes.
So this went down well over a month ago now.
Right.
And I know I said it as we were reviewing The Mandalorian last season, and the fire Gina Carano trend had come up on Twitter.
Right.
And I even said, if they fucking fire her, I'm done.
Yep.
I'm done with fucking Lucasfilm. I'm done with fucking Star Wars. Because quite frankly, I enjoyed her character of Cara Dune, and Gina Carano as a person, I find extremely attractive. And I just really like her in general.
Right.
And eventually it happened. And so to say that she got fired, I think is a little bit of an extreme talking point, because she just had a season to season contract. And what happened was Lucasfilm just said, we have no plans to continue to employ her at this point. So it's not like she was under some fucking long-term deal and they'd done all this structuring of a contract and she was going to get her own show and all this. It's just, they decided, no, we're not going to continue to do business with her.
Right.
Which we'll get into the specifics later. But again, when they come out and they say she got fired, that's not 100% accurate, but it's the sensationalism of the media.
Right.
And that's the rhetoric you're going to get when it comes to that.
And listen, I'm going to put it right out in front early that I am of the opinion that if your employer tells you that, hey, if you want to continue to do business with us, you have to adjust your behavior, right? You have to present yourself in a different way. If your employer tells you that, and you make a conscious decision based on your beliefs and everything else, you make a conscious decision, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to do what I do. And then I believe that the employer has the right to terminate that employment. Whether we're talking about somebody who we find attractive, a character that we like, or somebody that we don't like, I think, or what political affiliation you are. I think regardless of that, I'll put it right out there that if you're told we expect this level of behavior, because that's how we are in a fucking civilized society, right? Insert company here, right? And unfortunately, most of the mainstream companies right now are doing some fucking dumb shit.
Right.
And they're placating to an audience right now that is, if you're riding along with a lot of this stuff and you don't believe that a lot of the corporate America is riding along with you because they believe in it or because there's money in it. Right. The reality is there's fucking money in it. And if you don't think so, I think you need to scratch a little fucking more at that itch, because the reality is that corporations are making decisions that are going to affect their bottom line. If you have somebody that's not necessarily buying into your corporate beliefs and is very visible, very vocal, and you say to them, hey, if you keep doing this, we're not going to continue your employment, and then they continue to do that and you don't employ them, that's not the fault of the company.
Yeah.
Right? It's not necessarily a conversation we're having today. The conversation is more about what Disney is doing overall.
Right. But I mean, that is part of it, though. That's a significant part of it, and what's going on the larger scale.
Yeah.
On the bigger stage.
Yeah. When we're talking about with cancer culture or cancer, well, fuck cancer.
Well, cancel culture is cancer.
Yeah. And it's extremism. All right. And, unfortunately, Gina's in kind of the middle of it.
Yeah.
But I think what it does is it shows our little world, our little Star Wars world. It's you can extrapolate that into what's going on in the greater media with politics and everything else.
Oh, yeah.
It's extremism. Like at any point through all of this, whether you firmly believe that what she said was fucking racist or fucking, anti-Semitic or anything else like that, if you're on that side and this is how you fucking decided to see this material and you're buying into that, okay, that's fine, right? Because when you read something, you're going to interpret it the way you're going to interpret it, right? And you have all these people that are going to be on this far left. They're going to be like, nope, everything that she's done is fucking horrific, and dehumanizing and all this other stuff. And
I'm fucking triggered.
Yeah, and now on the far right, you're going to have these people are like, no, we're going to defend what she's saying because what she's saying is and what we think is right. Not because I'm going to like what Gina said. I don't believe to be was anti-Semitic or anything else. She
didn't even say it. She shared a fucking meme that came from somewhere else.
Well, no, she talked about like the implication is that she compared to what's going on right now with what happened to the Jews and look, if you're going to bring this shit up, you have to prepare. Like, this is one of those subjects where, like, what are the things you're not going to talk about? I'm not going to talk about the Holocaust.
Yeah, the Holocaust Nazis. Those are tough things to make analogies to because it was such a a pretty extreme example. Yeah, I guess. But at the end of the day, the meme that she was like, yes, she probably shouldn't have used the Holocaust analogy. But at the end of the day, what it was saying was, it wasn't the fucking, the fucking Nazis that were turning into Jews. It was they were turning them on each other. And that's exactly what fucking happened.
Yes. No, I'm not debating that at all. Like she called it.
Yeah.
And but that's the problem. And having a legitimate fucking conversation. Wonder Bread Mold Man.
Yeah.
Hi. That's a great name.
I know.
I'd love to know the.
All right. So before we get too deep, I want to bring one thing up really quick. You are going to have the contrary position, which you've made clear. I have the supporting Gina position.
Right.
For those of you watching the YouTube, I have my Welcome to the Rebellion t-shirt. Not one, but I actually purchased two. Now, granted, these are not from Gina Carano herself. This is from a YouTuber called Drunk 3PO who started making these shirts.
Yeah.
But he's, one of the people that's very critical of current Lucasfilm, Kennedy.
And he's been around for a minute.
Yeah. So, but he's kind of a lot of our same mindset. And he's selling these shirts. And of course, everybody's buying these and they're posting pictures on social media. And Gina Carano herself is actually responding to a lot of these, which, by the way, she liked something from our Instagram feed last week.
Thank you, Luna Girl.
Yeah, and thank you, Gina. So, but anyway, I am in 100% support of Gina. Here's something, a little sidebar, mentioning these shirts specifically. So there's a bunch of tough guys out there on fucking social media, apparently, that have come out and said on Twitter, like, I'll punch anybody that I see fucking wearing one of those shirts in public.
Oh, yeah?
So I'm like, okay. All right. So if any of you are actually watching right now or listening, and you're one of these tough guys that wants to punch somebody who's wearing one of these Welcome to the Rebellion t-shirts, I am at the Giant Fitness Center in Voorhees, New Jersey, every single morning from 4:30 a.m. to 6 a.m. 1130 Burnt Mill Road, Voorhees, New Jersey, 08003. I fucking dare you to come out there and try to take a swing at me while I'm wearing one of my Welcome to the Rebellion shirts. In fact, I want you to. I'll let you take that first fucking swing. That way, the fucking skull cracking and brain damage you're going to suffer afterwards is going to be all self-defense.
Yeah.
So please, 1130 Burnt Mill Road, Voorhees, New Jersey, 08003, Giant Fitness Center, 4:30 a.m. to 6 a.m. I'll be sure to wear my Welcome to the Rebellion shirt every fucking day for the next couple of months. So you'll have plenty of opportunities. So please, come on out.
Yeah. And people are fucking retarded.
Oh, they are.
They really are. Yeah. Look, because that's going to accomplish what? I mean, honestly, like what is going and finding somebody that's wearing that t-shirt and you're going to punch them? What is that going to do? Is that going to create a conversation about what's actually the problem is?
No.
Or is that going to actually make somebody feel better about what's going on? Is it like, no, it doesn't do anything. It's extremism because you're reacting. You're along for this ride, right? Then you're on that side of like, oh, with the rebellion, blah, blah, blah. Look, if you're choosing to participate in extremism, right? And you're like, to me, this is an extremism. Like, you want to wear a fucking shirt and you want to, like, I'm also like, don't get it twisted, right? I support Gina because I think that this character on the show and this person that Disney wanted for this character, they got the exact right person for it. And Disney needed to figure out how to fucking make that work.
Right.
And they chose not to because they're a bunch of fucking pussies.
Yeah.
And instead of helping create a fucking environment where we can actually have legitimate conversations about these things. They fucking, all right, well, we're going to go ahead and cancel her. And now anything that we could have fucking done that would have been good is now completely out the fucking window because you're dividing people even more.
Yeah.
And that's extremism. Like, the idea is to create this divide. And every one of these companies that's taking your fucking money. They're taking your money. There's nothing else to say. Coca-Cola with the fucking all this bullshit that they're doing, like across the board, they're taking your fucking money. They're saying, yes, we support you. We support fucking, being equal and open, and support all this other bullshit. They're supporting you because that's where the fucking money is.
And I hate to say it, but quite frankly, if they thought catering to, I don't know, fucking Klansmen was going to make them more money than catering to the other side of the extreme, then the next slogan for fucking Coca-Cola would be white power.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And and you think about it, like, especially about this particular thing, like what Gina was referencing. And look, she wasn't the only one. Mm-hmm. Like that post was floating around. That conversation had been going around in conservative circles, like making those comparisons.
Sure.
Like, hashtag fact check. Right. It's like she wasn't saying that fucking, she didn't say anything that was fucking overboard.
No,
it just what she didn't. And the idea that this, I don't know. It's so fucking, I had a thought and it's fucking gone. God damn it.
Well,
it'll come back. It'll come back to me. It's,
yeah. And I mean, I just want to kind of take a step back too, because all of this started again with these fucking blue check marks on Twitter. And really, it started with all these fucking losers on Twitter who have nothing better to do than sit behind their fucking computer all day because their fucking lesbian dance theory degrees aren't getting them the jobs that they wanted. So they have to sit there on Twitter and fucking try to claim as many leftist points as they can to make them feel better about themselves because their lives are fucking pathetic and they're useless pieces of shit. A trend started where people started putting their preferred pronouns in their bio, right? The transgender thing, whatever. You do whatever you want with your fucking Twitter account. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But what they started doing was they started ganging up on any fucking celebrity or anybody who had any kind of prominence and basically were forcing them all to put their preferred pronouns in their bio, right? Mm-hmm. They went after Gina. They're like, you don't have your preferred pronouns in your bio. So she did the beat bop boop thing.
Right.
And oh my God, you'd think she had fucking raped a child at that point.
Yeah.
Because that was the end of the fucking world.
Well, and I want somebody to come and sit down in front of me and tell me why forcing somebody to do something like that is helping the cause.
Right.
If you like, by what you're saying is that if I don't do this, then I'm anti-transgender.
Right.
If I don't conform to what you're saying,
mm-hmm.
Like if I don't conform to what you're saying, like you put it into those words and then suddenly realize that like, oh wait, I'm forcing somebody to conform to something that they don't necessarily believe in. So let's have a conversation about like why we think that these pronouns are important.
Mm-hmm.
Or I could just be like, you didn't do what I told you to do. Right. You're a bad person.
And that's what the rhetoric has become. And it's gone beyond the transgender thing. It's everything.
Yep.
It's everything from the left. And I'm not saying I'm like some far rightist because the right does some stupid fucking bullshit too. If Mitch McConnell fucking died tonight, I wouldn't shed a fucking tear.
Right.
But I digress. So, but this is what the left has been doing. It's like, if you don't follow and comply with every single fucking view that we have, then you're against us.
Yeah.
And you're a fucking racist and a sexist. And
listen, I am personally offended by the fact that somebody would judge me based on what I choose to have on a particular, like a Twitter profile.
Right.
Right. Let's talk about something right now.
Mm-hmm.
Twitter should not have the fucking weight that it does for anything.
Yeah.
For fucking anything.
And sadly, it has way too much
Way too much power. And you know who fucking didn't help that? Trump didn't help that.
Yeah.
That motherfucker, like, look, that dude basically using Twitter for foreign policy was a fucking huge fucking mistake. Huge mistake.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and no. Everything he did on there was fucking
but that's
the wrong
that's
thing.
the problem. And it made Twitter even more legitimate. Now, what Twitter decides...
They were almost fucking dead until Trump came along.
Yeah. And now, for some reason, Twitter now, if somebody looks at your Twitter handle and you sees that your post that, like, it's not about your post. If you decide you're going to post some fucking shit that shouldn't be on the internet that you like is all right, that's wrong, right? You want to fucking mistreat fucking somebody who's a different color than you? That's wrong. That's wrong. It's in a civil society with morals and everything else, like somebody that's different than you, if you decide go fuck yourself because your skin color is different or you're a fucking different gender or anything else, that is not good.
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah. And I don't think anybody would disagree with that.
Right. But if I choose to not, if I don't take one of the characters because it's character limited on your fucking profile, and I want to put that I'm a fucking Embry-Riddle alumni as opposed to putting my pronouns in there, that does not make me a fucking racist. That does not make me fucking hate transgender because I like we're like not even minor celebrities, right? We have downloads, we have this all this other shit, right? So in theory, I could be influencing somebody, right? That's the nature of what we're doing here. But I can tell you right now that you're not going to fucking peer pressure me into doing something, right? Because I get to choose. I get to fucking choose. That is the beauty of being in this fucking country.
But that's what they don't want. They don't want you to be able to choose that. You have to comply. And if you don't, you're canceled.
Yeah. And therein lies the problem. And with any of this extremism, and unfortunately the right is the reaction is probably just, it puts you in a bad spot because by reacting in certain ways, now it makes you look worse. Right. Yeah. So at some point, you have to go like, okay, look, I am not going to say anything. You're going to keep screaming at the top of your lungs. I'm going to sit here and not say anything.
Yeah.
Like, somehow I'm still going to be the fucking bad person and on the other side of that. Oh, I can't stand the idea that because I might fucking say, you know what? I like Gina Carano. I appreciate the fact that she's outspoken. I appreciate the fact that, she has some of the same value system. She looks at some things and understands what they are. And you know what? She's a person of prominence as far as fucking social media goes and everything else. And oh, by the way, she was part of fucking Star Wars, right? For 2 seasons, she was part of something that was fucking good.
And she had a big following.
Yeah.
Girls all over the fucking world loved her character, loved the way she was being presented because what Kathleen Kennedy, or fucking cunt Kennedy, and the woke people over at Lucasfilm have been pushing to us is women are powerful, strong women, strong female characters, blah, blah, blah. We got that. And we got that in a character that we enjoyed. Unfortunately, she didn't fucking toe the far leftist line, and she still paid the price for it.
So,
and that shows the hypocrisy.
Yes.
Of those people. And that's really what it boils down to, is that hypocrisy.
Yeah.
Because more than anything else, more than strong women, more than supporting transgenders, more than supporting racial equality, you have to think the way we think. And if you don't, all of that other shit doesn't matter.
They should have never hired her. Honestly, like Disney made a mistake by hiring her and putting her in a position where it's like, okay, we know you believe these things, but you're the perfect person to fucking portray this character.
Yeah.
Right. And she was.
Yeah.
She was a perfect person. And for 2 seasons, they're like, fuck, we really wish she'd fucking get off of Twitter with some of her shit, but like it's a hit. Right. And it finally got to a point where the peer pressure from other corporations and everything else was like, all right, well, we can't continue to do this. And you know what? If it wasn't a fucking election year, guess what? She'd still be on the show.
I wouldn't be surprised. And
I would, and it's not something you can win the bet on anyway, but I would bet $100 that if it wasn't an election season, she'd still be on the show.
Right. And because, everybody was still suffering from Trump derangement syndrome. and anything on that site had to be just like completely stopped. So, but yeah, at the end of the day, I actually understand why they let her go, because like you said at the beginning, if they told her, now we don't know what the specifics were, any conversations that Disney had with her. Like if they straight up told her like, hey, we're thinking about you for these spinoffs. We want you back for all these other shows, but you need to stop posting all the bullshit on Instagram. If that conversation actually happened and then she kept doing it, then yeah, they were completely within their rights.
Yeah. And look, I'm here to tell you that if you, the individual, not fucking celebrities, not verified on Twitter, if you make a decision that you're going to post something that somebody could construe as being anti-Semitic, as being like this something that could be morally reprehensible, and you decide you're going to post it, if you want to be in the military, if you want a fucking job in corporate America, you have to consider all those things when you make that post, because they have a choice on whether or not to hire you.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? All your social media profiles, like us as Gen Xers, right? We're like, we've been in the beginning of this pretty much for the most part, or like we're like this, but our kids, the millennials, they're going to have an entire generation of social media.
Yeah.
Like we have nothing before 1999,
right.
2000, right? So nobody can fucking look on the internet at shit that we did when we were in our fucking our teens.
What was the company? There was a company recently that had a new CEO, female. I think she wasn't 100% white. She had some sort of a different racial background. But because in 2012, she posted something on Twitter that was problematic, she got fucking kicked out of her fucking job.
Yeah. That's you have to, this is the world we live in.
Yeah.
Right. And I know we're sensitive to it because we have security clearances and all this other stuff. Right. So and quite frankly, I'm not that person. Right. And fuck you if you're going to accuse me of being that person, because I'm not.
Yeah.
Of most people I know, and I know I have a strong personality and blah, 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 whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality, like I try really, really hard to stand in the middle, because I've said it before, the best way to see both sides is be fucking standing in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to see both sides. I want to make educated, informed decisions. And guess what? I'm not getting educated, informed decisions on fucking Twitter.
Right.
You're not.
No,
you're fucking not. Because it's impossible to take the volume. If you could take the entire volume of what's going on Twitter, that could have factual facts or whatever the fuck, but it could have these facts in there that would be really useful for you to be able to interpret. They could be there, but you're never going to get the fucking volume that you need. You're not Johnny Five. You're not fucking getting that much input where you can fucking be like, okay, I've inputted all of Twitter and this stuff makes sense. These people are fucking idiots. These people are extremists.
Yeah, no,
right?
because
you can't do it. You're going to look at the things that cater to your particular view at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's not the way to fucking make decisions, because if somebody's constantly agreeing with you, you're doing something wrong. You have to have, somebody has to be going to you with like, that decision you made, we could do better. Right.
Yeah.
And we can do better. That's part of the problem. The proverbial we that are like influenced by social media and stuff like that, we have to be the people that go like, all right, time out. Let's see what's actually going on here.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to let Disney or Coca-Cola or anybody the fuck else tell me what I'm supposed to think about this.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the way it should be. You should come to all of your ways of thinking on your own.
Yeah. And if you have a contrarian, like your point of view is contrary to somebody else's, that's fine. Have a healthy debate. And look, this isn't new. Like, as long as there's been the printed page, there's been shit like this.
Yeah.
Right. The people who controlled the newspapers, the fucking Hearsts and all those people that controlled the media back in the day, it was the same thing. Mm-hmm. Like, they controlled what information got out to people, and they did it. It was way worse. At least now you have some methodology to be able to fucking do your own research. Right. You don't have to fucking go to the goddamn county library to fucking find out information. So, you can go on the internet and do your own research.
They are making it tougher, though. I mean, they really are making it tough to find opposing views if it's not the far left view of something. I mean, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, they're all cracking down on and contrarian opinions.
Look, people are fucking dumb. People are dumb. Like, I don't care if 100,000 people fucking agree to something. I don't care if 3.5 million people agree that this is the right thing. That doesn't mean it's right. You know? And the people, look, I personally, I think we talked about it briefly before. The people that were like, I'm canceling Disney Plus, right? I sit there and go like, I'm not feeding back into this mechanism of cancel culture.
Yeah.
If I really want to cancel Disney Plus, it's going because they fucking raised the price of it fucking $2 or whatever. Right.
Right.
That's why I'm like, you know what? That's not worth it to me, but I'm a Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
Right. There's things in Disney that I like. I'm going to subscribe to it because they have the things that I want to watch to entertain myself, because it's about my fucking quality of life. Not about yours, not about anybody else's. But if I can sit here and be comfortable in my own fucking skin with the decisions that I make, and I want to sit down and I want to watch fucking Star Wars, then fuck you. I'm going to do it.
And that's actually a good segue into one of the things we're going to talk about soon. And I think we'll get into that before we get into the future of the show. But I just kind of want to close the book on this Gina Carano thing, because after they canceled her from the show, they also immediately fucking canceled any future action figures with her.
Yeah, somebody brought it up in the chat. I can't keep up with the chat. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's going really fast.
But
they tried to basically wipe her out of fucking existence when it came to Star Wars.
Yeah, and that's insane.
Yeah, they canceled book plans. They canceled fucking action figures. And why? Why? Again, because you don't agree with somebody politically.
Yeah.
And
now what you've done is it's a martyrdom. Yeah. Right now, you've created like for the people that are supporting her, it's like, I'm going to buy everything that's hers,
right?
Because this is now my symbol. This is my symbol,
right? Hence the fucking shirts, that I bought,
and it's effective.
Yeah,
it's fucking effective. And you know what? Shit happens, right?
Right.
Like my Cara Dune pop would not be worth $60 if the shit didn't go down.
Right.
That's an $8 pop at best.
And her fucking Black Series figures, you can't find them any less than $80 on fucking eBay right now.
You can't get any. You can't.
Which I'm still gonna get one. So eventually,
it'll calm down to the point where that they won't be quite as expensive. Yeah. But it's the systematic. Ironically, like we're going to exterminate this fucking character out of the world,
right?
Of Star Wars, and it's like
it would have been so much easier to just try to come to some sort of an understanding, as opposed to canceling a fucking book, canceling action figures, canceling fucking spin-off shows.
Yeah,
she was supposed to be the lead in that Rangers of the New Republic show, allegedly, and
again, Disney made a choice.
Yeah,
Disney made a choice when they hired her, and they probably regretted it, but the character she was the perfect person for that character.
Yeah.
There's nobody else out there that could have represented it the same way. And, you know, we talk about it. I think you brought it up briefly, but like she had this strong female presence. They spent.
She was everything that they tried to make fucking Rey in the goddamn sequels.
When you had Bo-Katan and you had her and you had I can't think of the name of the other
Boba Fett's side chick.
Yeah. Well, her and the fucking other Mandalorian broad, like
oh yeah.
Like, look, we've talked about it before. Star Wars has never been shy about fucking making strong female characters and everything else. Like, without the flaunting of it, I guess.
And that was the thing. The Mandalorian, especially that last season or that last part of the season where it was all of those chicks kicking ass, it wasn't that in your face, like, look how powerful women are. And
it all made sense. The Mandalorians are fucking badass.
Yeah.
You have an entire Clone Wars series that flushes it out.
Yeah.
Then it now add fucking Cara Dune character in there, which everyone loved. And this is where you get.
They did it in a good way to where they weren't trying to shove it in their face, unlike fucking The Last Jedi, where leading up to the launch, all they were talking about is Rose Tico, the first Asian female of color in the lead Star Wars role, and look how woke we are.
I am so that to me, I hope I'm wrong when I say this, that the advantageous nature of some of these things, I hope it works, because maybe I'm just being cynical, but I feel like it's really obvious. I feel like you look at it and you go like, man, I want that person to be represented like that, because fuck, they're really, really good at what they do.
Of course.
And it's deserving. Case in point, the Masters this weekend, right? The Masters golf tournament, you don't know shit about it, but
it's golf, I know.
So it's golf. Good. You got the sport. Great job. But the Masters was known forever as being like this elitist white male group, and over the years they got more like that, African Americans playing, you know, it's all this stuff, right? So
I gotta go do one sidebar.
Okay.
There was this point, I think it was in like 2004, 2005. Tiger Woods was at his fucking height. So was Eminem. Somebody made a joke. Who'd have thought we'd see a time where the best golfer in the world was black and the best rapper in the world was white?
That's really funny. That sounds like something Chappelle would say.
Yeah. But anyway, I digress.
But yeah, so you had a Japanese player won this week at the Masters, right? So he's the first Japanese player to win at the Masters. And it's fucking awesome.
Yeah,
you know why he won? Because he was the fucking best guy on the golf course for 4 fucking days.
Right.
He got out there, he proved himself, and he also gets to be the first one. Awesome.
Right. And it wasn't because the PGA like propped him up and like, look, we have our first Asian person of color who's going to be a golfer.
And listen, I'm obviously partial to this because the Masters golf tournament is probably it is must see TV for me. Like every year. Yeah. It has been since I was a kid. And it's just, there's just something about it as from a golfer and everything else. Right. But the Masters caught a lot of fucking grief for being that white elitist male group.
Sure.
And it forced them to open up. Right. And it was one of those things where it's like, okay, you know what? We can take our prominence and we could take our wealth and our influence and we can actually do something that's better. So what do? They pour a bunch of money into fucking golf for, you know, underprivileged kids. And that's awesome. The Drive Chip and Putt program. Nothing wrong
with that.
Yeah. And bringing golf to Asia and Latin America and everything else. So they did these things. So when a golfer like this Japanese player Matsuyama, when he was the Asian Pacific amateur champion, so he got to play at the Masters like 10 years ago. Right. They invite us like, hey, you're the amateur champion. You get to come and you get to play at the Masters. And then for him to come back, you know, to be able to ride that, being somebody from Japan, and be able to ride that and come back and actually win the whole fucking thing, one of the biggest tournaments in golf, like that's amazing. And that's what did you have? You had Augusta National, this fucking white waspy fucking like just
waspy,
just place where just people there's nobody of color, there's nobody female and everything else. You know, Condoleezza Rice is a member there.
Oh shit!
Now, yeah, it's like so. It's like they changed. They changed for the better, I think. Yeah. And was it advantageous? Like, I think to some extent, I think there is some of that. But I think if you do it right, then it could be good. But just to
do it for the sake of doing it,
just do it because fuck, this is going to get us a lot of likes on Twitter. This is going to get a lot of conversation for our product. That's what it is. That's what it fucking is. And I hope I'm wrong. I really truly hope that my limited view of this from the small screen, that small scope that I see, that there's actually some positive influence happening with all this and some positive change that's actually going to happen. Because I can tell you right now, from where I sit, all I see is division. I don't see conversations happening. All I see is people screaming from one side of the room to the other. And we're not going to change anything. Nothing is going to get better.
That's all that political discourse has become.
Yeah.
People screaming at each
other.
And
it's not new. I mean, like I said,
I don't know. It feels different from the way it used to be.
Well, I'm talking about like, you want to see a good representation of what like Congress used to be like? Watch the movie Lincoln with Daniel Day-Lewis. Like they show what was basically, I think it was the Senate. and they're fucking.
I threw the Senate at him.
Let's go for Bob Palpatine. But they show like they're screaming at each other, they're calling each other names, like it's right there on the Senate floor. Like politics has always been divisive, and Washington knew it was going to be when he said there shouldn't be only two parties. But that's a whole nother conversation,
right?
But yeah, I think we, the proverbial we, you can have those strong opinions. You're allowed. This is the United States of fucking America. Like, we spent a lot of our lives and we've expended a lot of fucking extra lives, you know, Mario extra lives to fucking defend this country. And I don't have any problem with you having a point of view that's contrary to mine.
Sure.
And
in a perfect world, we can have that and still be friends
and have a pleasant,
still have a conversation,
right? And have a pleasant discourse about something. And I'm going to continue to have my opinion, and you're going to continue to have yours, and we'll fucking live our lives.
Yeah,
that's obviously a utopian society,
right?
But
because God forbid you have that now.
And I think part of the problem is, like, for us as we sit here right now, like we're not ending all things Star Wars because of the Gina Carano thing,
right?
I mean, we're ending all things Star Wars because we have a podcast product that we're kind of like, here's this one fucking stream of it, and then we have the other one with the Gen X thing. It's a lot. It's a lot to maintain fucking two things when really it's just the David Jason show.
Right. It's the same thing every week.
Right. It's a David Jason show. So we're not ending the fucking Star Wars because of this. Like, we're not canceling all things Star Wars because of the Gina Carano thing.
Right.
However,
that is a symptom of a bigger problem with Lucasfilm, and we're going to talk about that. In fact, I think that's a great segue, Dave.
Yes.
Man, what a good job. You know, this is why
I can do segues on the All Things Star Wars podcast. Yeah. The Gen X one, no, not so much.
So before we talk about the future of the show, let's talk about how we feel about Star Wars and Lucasfilm as a whole. Because, you know, initially I had said, like, if they fire Gina Carano, I'm fucking done. Had some time to simmer,
right?
And because initially I was like, as soon as that news broke, I'm like, I'm out. Fuck everything. You know, fuck Lucasfilm, fuck Disney, fuck Star Wars, all of it. I'm out.
Right.
Had some time to let it simmer. It's like, okay, she poked the bear a little bit, so a lot of this is on her. But at the same time, Lucasfilm is full of these fucking woke far lefties who are just fucking so aggravating. And it starts with Cunt Kennedy at the fucking top, and it trickles its way down. So I'm trying to think of how I'm going to approach Star Wars at this point. And I've basically come to where I stand with Star Wars. The people who aren't corrupted yet, Favreau and Filoni, right? They have proven beyond a shadow of a doubt they love Star Wars and they care about the fans, and they care about how the fans interact with Star Wars. Between Clone Wars and The Mandalorian, they have proven that they are in this for us as well as being fans themselves.
Yeah.
They're not of the fucking Cunt Kennedys. It's like, we need to put our woke shit first, and then all the story and everything else will come afterwards.
I think we should have it added to a drinking game. Every time Jason drops the C word, you need to take a shot.
It's gonna continue to happen. And so here's where I am with Star Wars. The story group. When we first started this podcast, we were high on these guys. Yeah. The Matt Martins, the fucking Leland Cheese, those guys, the guys that are in charge of the story group. Well, they've proven with all of the shit that they've done on Twitter and said, and the way they fucking treated Gina Carano, and the way that they've been in this whole situation, they're fully on board with fucking Cunt Kennedy. Like, they are her fucking people. And I'm done with all of them. I'm done with the story group. I'm done with fucking Kennedy and all of her bullshit. So the ways that I'm going to support future Star Wars content are the Favreau and Filoni projects until they give me a reason not to. So the Bad Batch, which is a Filoni thing, continuation of Clone Wars. Right. It's essentially Clone Wars Season 7. I saw a meme today that basically said that.
Right.
It's like, let's find out what you really are. And it was the Bad Batch, and they took off the mask, and it was Clone Wars Season 7. Right. So I'm going to continue to support that. I'm going to continue to support the Mandalorian universe. You know, we've got the Mandalorian and all these fucking spinoffs until they give me a reason not to. Until Cunt Kennedy gets her fucking claws in these guys and it becomes more about the wokeness than the fucking Star Wars and the fans who made this fucking franchise what it is.
Yeah.
Rogue Squadron? Nope. Done. Not going to see it. Okay. We'll adjust that. If it turns out that it's actually good and people on every side agree that Rogue Squadron is a good movie, I'll see it the third week after its release.
Why the third week?
Because the first 2 weeks of release of any major motion picture in theaters all goes to the studio.
Okay.
Most of the money that the theaters, the local businesses make, is made in the third to final week of a movie's release.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So that the theater itself isn't getting, they're making money on concessions, not necessarily on theater tickets until later.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Until about the third week or more, depending on how they've negotiated it with the fucking movie studio. The Taika Waititi Star Wars project, if that ever comes to pass, I'll see that, because Taika Waititi did Thor Ragnarok, which I actually enjoyed. Not a lot of wokeness bullshit in it. He also did What We Do in the Shadows, which is a hilarious show. If you have Hulu, which most Disney Plus people do, fucking hilarious show. It's basically, I think I've talked about it here on the podcast, but it's an Office or Parks and Rec style show about a bunch of vampires.
Right.
But he does that show. So I have every reason to believe that he's going to bring that quirkiness to Star Wars. So I'm on board with that. Anything with Rian Johnson, never going to see. I'll never pay for a fucking ticket to see another Rian Johnson Star Wars movie, ever.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where I am with Star Wars at this point. I will support Favreau and Filoni until they give me a reason not to. I'm hesitant with Kenobi, but I'm going to at least give it a chance. Cassian, like we said, I don't know how to feel about it, honestly. I never thought it was a great idea from the get-go.
Nope. Yeah, I mean, that's a Star Wars conversation, not necessarily a fucking production conversation. It's like, do we...
And then the story group, the books and the comics. Right. I'm not going to drop a single penny on any of that shit. The High Republic stuff, done with it for a multitude of reasons.
Right.
So I'll never read a High Republic book, never read a High Republic comic. Really not going to pay any money into any of those, because that's the shit that the story group is in charge of. And the story group, the Matt Martins and the fucking Leland Cheese of the world, have made it perfectly clear that they are 100% on board with the far leftist Cunt Kennedy agenda. So I'm done with them. So that is where I stand with Star Wars right now. I don't know if you have anything to add.
All right, so here's my thing with Star Wars. It's goes unsaid, like the beginning of what you were saying, and I think for both of us that Star Wars is still a huge part of what our lives are. Right?
Yeah.
You know, I will never stop supporting the originality of Star Wars. Especially like what was been in the past, right? So original trilogy,
right?
Prequel trilogy, even fucking joints like the Han Solo thing, which is still actually Solo's not probably the right one. Rogue Squadron, the movie.
Rogue One was a movie.
Yes.
Rogue Squadron is a future movie.
Yeah, I'm confusing it. I haven't even been drinking.
And he's the one that's not drinking.
Yeah, it's just my fucking brain. I am going to continue to enjoy what I enjoy. Like if the High Republic to me turns into some propaganda, then I'll stop reading it.
Okay.
Because I'm not going to buy into the propaganda, because that's really what it turns into, right? Like the new Thrawn book's getting ready to come out. I'll get that. And I'll let you know how it is.
Yeah.
You know, if it's must fucking read, but the second book, I know you had issues with just from a readability standpoint.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, some of these Star Wars things, like there's the propaganda piece that starts to take away from the actual storytelling.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I have an issue with.
Yeah. Favreau and Filoni haven't, all of us, we all know that George always there was always politics in these movies. There always was.
Yeah.
And the idea that this is any different, it's just more. It's more in your face right now.
Right.
Like but I can tell you, like in the 70s, like post-Vietnam War, that I'm sure that some of how George wanted to represent certain things in a post-Vietnam era was that anti-war sentiment. Because he was one of those people.
Sure, but again, it was so subtle.
Subtle to us now. Could that be said? I don't
guess
know.
We weren't experienced in the Vietnam War.
Exactly. And that's one of those things that like I wasn't there. Yeah. I wasn't there. I couldn't make an informed decision on it because I wasn't there.
But so I don't know. You compared this bullshit to The Last Jedi and Rose Tico and the fucking war profiteering and that whole Canto Bight sequence and the animal rights and all that shit. Ugh. That was so in your fucking face. Like,
it was propaganda.
I couldn't even see anything else past.
It was propaganda. Yeah. And there's a difference.
Yeah.
Like you can
be subtle.
Yeah.
That was not subtle.
You can be a good writer and get your opinion can come out without fucking jamming a shotgun into your face with it, like something like Last Jedi and some of the other stuff. So the bottom line for me is that if it's going to be good, then I will partake until it becomes that propaganda level where I'm just like, I can't do it. And in the meantime, that doesn't mean I'm going to turn my back on Star Wars, the stuff that I already like, because I still like it.
Oh, and me too. Like, and
that's like Star Wars is just, it's too much a part of me to fucking turn my back on it and anything. Like, but I can definitely like stay away from the fucking propaganda because like, I just don't.
Right. And I can totally agree with that too.
I don't need that in my life.
And again, for me, especially, I know you've already read most of this stuff, but I still have this whole sea of Legends material that I never touched. And I'm ready to flip the script and be like, the Legends material is the prime universe, and the sequels and everything else is the alternate universe. And I can.
Are you saying something like Summer of Legends?
Yeah,
but
more of a Life of Legends.
I want Bronco Fett to react.
Chat
to Summer of Legends.
Yeah, and maybe I'll read some Republic Commando books and things like that.
Maybe
to keep my Star Wars fix and get that from a time where fucking politics and all this fucking the bullshit that we deal with now wasn't a thing.
It really wasn't.
Even before, like, say 2015, none of this was a thing. And then all of a sudden.
Yeah. It is unfortunate. And I think Luna Girl said in the chat, it's unfortunate that this lifeblood of our characters has turned into something that can be so biased.
Right. It sucks. It truly sucks.
But like you said, like we have the beauty of this thing that we love so much is that we can go right now, right this second, and be like,
right now,
everything that's prior to this that we like.
Right. And it's not going to change anything we love
and
before.
Pretend everything else like we have a choice. Like you have a choice not to fucking read that shit. That's fucking brilliant. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm not going to sit here and be like, you're not a Star Wars fan if you don't read this. No, that's not. No.
But I'm sure the fucking Aspie blue check marks on Twitter would say that.
And you know what? They can say that, but we need to be in a place that really doesn't mean anything. I fucking hate Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
I really do.
I canceled my accounts. I canceled them back when they suspended Trump. I canceled my Twitter accounts and I've never gone back, and I don't miss it at all.
I haven't been looking at anything recently, but what I get out of Twitter for sports and some like breaking stuff for sports, it's not worth it. It's not.
Yeah.
I hate the fact that Twitter is as legitimate as it was. You know, when I first got on Twitter, I was just starting at Embry-Riddle. Like Twitter was brand new.
Yeah.
And I was in class in Embry-Riddle and I created an account so that because people that were writing for the aerospace magazines were posting their articles on Twitter. so that
Okay.
so I didn't have to fucking be a subscriber to some fucking aerospace magazine, so I could actually find out what was going on in the industry, and it was valuable for that. It's like, hey, here's a way for somebody who's writing. Gotta wait, let the white balance, and there it is. It was a way to actually get information that I wouldn't otherwise be able to get from a particular source.
Sure.
And that's what Twitter was. It had a place. The idea that it can be the heartbeat of what we are as a people is a fucking travesty. Because
awful.
guess what? It doesn't represent everybody.
No,
it
it's
really
only
doesn't.
the loudest, strongest voices.
Well, and it's only the people that are actually subscribed and on it. Like
Right.
it's like any other statistic in propaganda. It's okay. I'm going to take this number and I'm going to make this number and do some math. Is it starting to hurt? Is it starting to get painful?
Just keep going. Keep going. Finish your point.
It's sign 2.0. It's just I can't stand it. I can't stand that Twitter is the idea that Twitter is a representative of what the people think.
Right.
Is fucking outlandish. It's outlandish.
No.
So
it's one of those weird.
We need to be better. We need to be better.
Yeah.
Everyone, we need to be better.
We just need to figure out a way to be fucking civil with each other. That's really what it boils down to. We can have different opinions, like you said before, but at the end of the day, we should still be able to be fucking civil with each other.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate anybody. I don't even hate these fucking people. I don't even hate these fucking far leftists that are that have no fucking lives, but to sit around on fucking Twitter all day and attack people. But
I hate people.
But because their inability to ever see anything different, that just
Yeah, you should go pee.
I should
have an accident.
All right, we need to take one more break, and then we'll be back, and we'll talk about the last thing we wanted to talk about, and that's the future of the Dave and Jason show. But it will be after these words from our sponsors. Oh God!
So when we get the when it's two signages, you know he really has to go. I'm kind of glad I'm not drinking. Yeah, it's yeah, I fucking Twitter, man. The idea of it being a legitimate source of anything except for fucking nonsense. There's a Twitter account that was out a few years back. There was like something from North Korea. Like somebody made it like it was the like legitimate North Korean government, and they would post such fucking outlandish random shit. It's just like, you know, there's media outlets that would look at that quickly at face value and go like, oh my God, this is a story. How many times does the fucking Duffel blog get quoted in some story about the military? How many people look at something that's from like the I don't know, some website that's called like American Military Press or some shit like that, and people look at it and go like, oh, this is legitimate information. Like
No.
Like that's not a real thing. That's not a real place. That's not even like a legitimate news source. That's I'm good, thank you.
There's no ice in there.
Yeah, but it's still cold because the ice that was in there was melted. I don't feel like watering down like my Diet Coke anymore than it is.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's like yeah, it's just I've lost my train of thought, but it's fucking Twitter sucks. I can't even. I fucking can't even. We do another 30 seconds?
We're gonna have to. Give me just 1 second.
All right. Yeah, you know what? If I look at anything at this point besides the Sidebar Cantina, which if you're not a member, please subscribe. We appreciate you and we love you. But the Instagram has like good pictures and videos and stuff like that. And it has its political stuff too, but because it's just like an image, I can go scroll through with my attention span. And honestly, as somebody who takes pictures and fancies actually making money flying drones, now that I have my Part 107, Instagram has a place for that. So I will take advantage of it because it's there to be taken advantage of. And that's the beauty of it. I hate to sound like a hypocrite with that, but I'm certainly not going to be pushing any political view based on my fucking city skyline flyby. That's not who I am. It's not what I do. Because I've seen it go so wrong personally, like in places, in not just in this country, all over the world. I've seen it go so wrong. So anyway, that's enough of that. Hashtag Toyographer on Instagram. Sweet stuff. Yes, it is the sweet stuff. It is.
Phone's almost dead.
What is he? He's taking a picture. Apparently, this is something important.
Not important at all.
Okay. It's usually me. It's usually me holding this shit up.
Is it?
I can't believe you went vodka tonic to fucking the banquet beer.
Well, I had them left over from last week.
Yeah, I know, but why not just fucking stay with vodka tonics? Why are you gonna throw some hops and shit into the fucking party?
Liquor before beer. That's the rule, right?
Yeah, but why? You could have had more liquor.
Because I don't handle liquor very well these days. Like, honestly, it's if I had another vodka tonic, I would wake up tomorrow morning feeling like absolute dog shit.
You're gonna wake up tomorrow morning and feel like absolute dog shit.
Whatever.
Ready?
See.
3PO.
Go. And we're back again.
Yep.
So we've talked about Gina. We've talked about how we're dealing with Star Wars from here on out, but we haven't talked about the future of the Dave and Jason show.
That's right.
And where we are going from here. So, like I said at the very top of the show, to new beginnings, but with every beginning has to come an end. So we're ending All Things Star Wars as an individual show that we're doing.
Right.
Also, what we haven't mentioned is that we're also, in effect, ending from a Gen X point of view.
Right.
So we started doing this last year, right? The whole COVID thing happened, and we're like, let's just fucking do this, because at the end of the day, you and I were both basically ready to move on from only talking about Star Wars every week.
Right.
Right. We had other things that we wanted to get to.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, let's face it, the Dave and Jason show is a lot about the first hour of the show.
Right.
And I think we were struggling to stay on track with the Star Wars stuff that we were trying to cover. And like, hence the Summer of Legends kind of going off the rails, because it was like, God, there's other stuff in the world going on, like with COVID and everything else. Like, we want to talk about other things, and to talk about other things on a all things Star Wars podcast just wasn't proper.
Right.
It kind of defeated. It's a disservice to the people that were listening only for Star Wars content, that, aside from our weeks and all that other banter and bullshit, because that's, honestly, that's probably why you're here. But it was a Star Wars podcast exclusively.
Yeah.
And we felt like we had more stuff to talk about.
And
that's what we did.
Yeah. So we did that. We moved on to Gen X POV, which we were having a lot of fun with. But at the same time, we got to a point where we kind of had this weird divided audience thing going on, because we were continuing to, and we're still continuing to post to two different feeds, the From a Gen X Point of View feed and the All Things Star Wars feed. And we kind of got to a point where, all right, we need to sort of consolidate this, and we need to bring everything together that we've been doing up to this point.
Right.
Star Wars, the Gen X POV, the different topics and all that. So with that, in addition to ending All Things Star Wars, which was always in the books, we've decided to, I guess, merge everything under one brand, right? Yep. Everything that we're doing, the Dave and Jason show, It's still going to be the pretty much the same thing. Think the same format as from a Gen X point of view, where we're just going to talk about whatever the fuck we want, quite frankly. And along with everything that we learned from All Things Star Wars and the formats that we kind of picked up from All Things Star Wars, and we are going to continue to talk about Star Wars things, but it's all going to be under this new Sidebar Cantina brand.
Right.
Because that's the thing that's been consistent through all of this, through All Things Star Wars from a Gen X point of view. Everything has gone back to the Sidebar Cantina.
Yep.
The private Facebook group that we created as a way to get some of our more loyal listeners in to interact with us on Facebook. It seems like the perfect way to kind of mix the two concepts.
Yeah.
And as one banner to move forward under.
Yeah. And the forethought of me actually getting at Sidebar Cantina fucking put aside on Instagram for, I don't know, for 3-4 years.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So yeah, I knew things back in the day, but it's getting everything under kind of all of our shit into one bag, you know, for lack of a better term, and producing it under something that we could still like, look, Star Wars is still in our roots.
Oh yeah,
right?
for sure.
It's why most of you are downloading this is because of some Star Wars connection.
Yep.
So I like everything we've been doing with Gen X point of view. So now we can, for us, it's a branding thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's not canceling anything because of some fucking cancel culture bullshit. This is like, for us, for our brand, this is what makes sense. So
yeah.
We're going to consolidate under the looks like somebody's planning on their t-shirts.
Oh, nice.
We do have shirts on TeePublic. You can get some legacy podcast shirts for all things Star Wars.
Well, we have one legacy All Things Star Wars shirt left, and that's actually going to Lunar Girl.
Right.
So
someday.
But
now that you've said it publicly, because there's a pile of stuff.
Yeah, we have a lot of things to send to you, but
yeah, and others are Patreon supporters from the All Things Star Wars podcast were promised things. So we're going to get there. But we have one unpaid employee that has stuff specifically for that. And then, you know, we're gonna look, I love the Sidebar Cantina. I think it's the bread and butter of what makes this fun. Is the people in the chat that are, and just the depravity that sometimes is the Sidebar Cantina. It's where our fantasy football stuff lives, our fantasy hockey thing, which I just lost to Lunar Girl. Boo.
And I just lost too. So
yeah, boo. I actually moved people around too, which is annoying. Like, I paid attention to it for like a few days and I still lost. Like, fuck this fantasy hockey.
Good job, Kelly.
Whose fucking idea was this? But yeah, I love the Sidebar Cantina. I think it kind of speaks to our roots in Star Wars a little bit, at least for us. It speaks to our roots in the podcast.
Right.
I mean, let's face it. And it's our entire shtick is the sidebar.
Right. Because I mean, fuck.
What fucking topic are we supposed to be talking about today? Dave doesn't even know.
Right.
Because he knows full well that most of it's going to be about other random bullshit.
Yeah. So Big 11 asks, so should we refer to you all as the Sidebar Cantina? Yes, soon.
Yes.
So we've been talking about the way we're going to do this. First of all, the numbering, right?
Oh,
we're not starting fresh, right? We've done 30 episodes from a Gen X point of view and 165 episodes of All Things Star Wars, and we're just going to combine them.
Yeah.
So this right now is technically episode 196 of the Sidebar Cantina.
Right.
And what we're going to do is we're going to do a few more weeks from a Gen X point of view because we already have our topics already lined out. And then starting with episode 200 of the Dave and Jason Show, which will henceforth become the Sidebar Cantina.
Right.
That is where we begin the rebranding.
Yep.
And that's coming May 10th, I want to say.
Yeah, something like that.
There'll
be some, it's going to be some transition stuff, but
it'll likely be around May 10th.
Yeah.
Is when our 200th episode is between our two different shows. And we're going to go from there. It'll be the Sidebar Cantina, episode 200. And that's that. No more brand changes.
Yep.
No more anything. We'll do fucking Star Wars. We'll do random shit. We'll do whatever we want. It's our show.
Yeah, exactly. It's the Dave and Jason show, but that probably could be its own thing too if we really wanted to. But I think the sidebar cantina, I think it encapsulates like who we are.
Right. So, and again, we're going to continue to talk about Star Wars. In fact, that May 10th episode, we're probably going to talk about the Bad Batch. Because the Bad Batch is going to debut May the 4th. So it'll be after our May 3rd episode. And quite frankly, the Bad Batch, I'm actually looking forward to. I know you have your own opinion about them. But like I've said before, my son Adam, my middle son, who I've had very few ways to bond with him over the last few years, we've really bonded over things like the Clone Wars and the Mandalorian. So I'm really looking forward to sitting down with him and watching the Bad Batch. And again, I hope that it doesn't get fucking corrupted by Kennedy and the rest of her fucking crew. But until it does, I'll be sitting down and watching the Bad Batch. And I would be willing to bet, more than likely, our May 10th episode is going to be us reviewing the Bad Batch.
Yeah.
So again,
Luna, go write that down because we're going to forget.
Right. So yeah, we're going to start off right out of the gate with the new brand with a Star Wars topic. But then the next week we might talk about something totally different. We might talk about fucking Aerosmith the next fucking week or something like that.
Did you want to do Aerosmith the next week after that?
I mean, one of these days we need to talk Aerosmith because they've had quite an impact on us as far as musically and our upbringing. You can talk about their shit from the 70s and then them breaking up and then them coming back in the late 80s, fucking Janie's Got a Gun and all that. And then you've got the fucking early 90s with the fucking Alicia Silverstone videos and everything else. So that's a whole show in itself.
And the idea that fucking somebody as hideous as fucking Steven Tyler produced something as gorgeous as Liv Tyler.
True.
Like, that's its own topic in it.
And you can even see it. You can see the Steven Tyler in her, but at the same time, she's still...
Yeah, thankfully it's back there. That gene is like just far enough back behind some fucking lips. Anyway.
Yeah. So, but that's where we're going for the future. No more brand changes after that. That is
until the next one. I mean,
I'd like to think that there's not going to be any more changes at that point.
Yeah, well, we could do 3 years of something and be like, yeah, you know what? We should just call it the Dave and Jason show.
I mean, maybe we should. I don't know. So
I like the Sidebar Cantina. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
It's not because it was my idea.
Right. So, but that's that. That's where we're going for the future. And at the end of the day, here's the deal. Nothing's going to change.
No.
We'll probably start with a toast. Because that's one thing that I want to bring over from All Things Star Wars. Yeah. We're going to probably start every episode with a toast to kind of like take us back to the All Things Star Wars. We'll talk about some kind of weird news thing or some weird sidebar in the beginning. We'll get into our weeks and then we'll talk about our main topic.
And we'll have this or that.
Yeah. Too. And that's right. We'll have this or that. We'll praise Luna Girl every single week for the good job she's doing on whatever social media she's working on that week.
And you know what else we can do? We can pimp all of our friends that are content creators too, like the Escape Pod, who is also like full disclosure. So All Things Star Wars was this thing we created, right? Yeah. And some of the Galactic Refugee Caravan had come in and gave us this amazing shirt. It was here for the 100th episode. I love the idea that their brand came about because of All Things Star Wars. I think that's awesome. And when they started their podcast, they represented us. Mm-hmm. They honored us by having ATSW as part of their nomenclature, right? And I think it benefited them alphabetically too. I mean, if we're being honest, but
yeah.
But, I think those guys are also going to be, rebranding a little bit. So, they'll just be the Escape Pod as opposed to ATSW, the Escape Pod.
Sure.
And you know what? We were honored to help you get to where you are in your podcast journey. And it's
and quite frankly, they've surpassed us in many ways. Their production value on their YouTube, if you look, they built their fucking studio from scratch.
Yeah.
Most of it was done.
Yeah. think Brady was there for as a laborer.
Yeah, no, he was just drinking Coronas.
That's right.
Just kind of telling
and drinking Coronas and peeing.
Right. But no, man, they've done a phenomenal job with their show.
Yep.
And same with Scott and Kim.
Yeah.
Over at Used and Abused. They again talking about rebranding, right? Scott and Kim started off strictly talking about music.
Yep.
But they too have branched off, started doing different topics, started getting away from their original roots, and their episode numbers, they're way up there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's awesome. In fact, he posted in there, time to create the Sidebar network. Put all of us all in one network.
There you go.
That's a lot of work.
We'll get there. I mean,
we will get there, but not right now.
Yeah,
that's a lot of work. But yeah, so follow the Escape Pod on YouTube, on all your podcast outlets.
Mm-hmm.
Follow the Used and Abused podcast
on
the same. All right, they're on YouTube too.
Used and Abused, yeah.
I download the podcast for them, but
yeah,
those guys are on YouTube. Look for Used and Abused. Follow Scott and Kim.
Big Swede, our guest last week, by the way,
that's
for
right.
Our Nirvana episode.
Big Swede, go to Swede Studio, see what he's doing right now. Go to Big Swede's Excellent Adventure to see what he did over the winter. I think because that's his snowboarding joint and all that other shit. And then Tactical Swede for all your gunnery needs.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Connor Ferguson. Thank you.
Yeah.
He loved the show. And you'll continue to love the show because we're doing the same shit. It's just going to have a different fucking URL.
Thank you, Connor. And yes, we're not going anywhere.
Yeah,
and that's the big thing.
It's the same fucking shit.
So yeah, we had a lot of posts in the Sidebar Cantina private Facebook group today, where it's like, there's like the somber attitude,
like the corner of my mind.
Thanking us for everything we've done, and then we had Bronco Fett in his All Things Star Wars T-shirt and his All Things Star Wars sticker. At the end of the day, we're not going anywhere.
Nope.
We're still here. We're going to be here next week and every week afterwards. It's just we're trying to find that sweet spot, and I think we finally gotten there.
It only took 4 years.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
It's nice to be able to do something for 4 years, right?
Right. I can't even believe it's been that long.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So Use and Abuse goes live tomorrow night on YouTube.
Oh, and they're talking about Grease. Summer loving had me a blast.
No, I'm not doing
No, you got to do it.
Summer loving happened so fast.
I met a girl crazy for me.
I don't remember. Fuck.
Bullshit. Met a boy cute as can be. So anyway, tune in to Used and Abused to hear all about Grease.
Tell me more.
Which
sidebar?
I actually liked Grease 2 more than the original Grease.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is bold.
I mean, Michelle Pfeiffer. Like 20-year-old Michelle Pfeiffer.
You liked Grease 2?
I loved Grease 2.
Wow.
As a kid.
So if you had to pick.
Well, see, here's the thing. The funny thing about Grease 2, if you really pay attention, every single song in that movie is about fucking.
Yeah.
It's all about fucking.
Yeah.
Is all they're talking about in that fucking movie.
Okay.
So
I don't know that that's a reason, but okay.
Whatever. But no, I enjoyed Grease 2. I really liked it. So anyway,
that is a statement. That is something.
All right,
that's something to address later at a later date.
Anything else, Dave? That's a weird spot to end it on.
Yeah, we're gonna talk Jason's affinity for Grease 2 over the original.
Yeah, and I'll stand by it.
You can do that, sir,
because that is my opinion, and
you can absolutely do that.
Right. So, all right, I guess this is about time where we're going to end the show.
Yeah, let's. We've
already shouted out to everybody
except for Keith Lehman. Layman's Terms on Facebook. He was in the chat earlier.
Only on Facebook. He does not do YouTubes. He does not do podcasts. He is strictly a YouTube or a Facebook channel.
Yeah, he is the Layman.
Yeah.
So, and it's very funny. I think that's it. Next week we are doing
90s Trivial Pursuit.
90s Trivial Pursuit.
No, Chappelle
No.
Show.
We're doing Chappelle Show.
That's right,
Chappelle Show.
Yeah,
Woo-hoo.
so we've been talking about this for the longest time.
Start the show.
And we're gonna start digging into Chappelle Show. Gonna
Look,
try to do it to
listen.
where we don't get in trouble.
This is going to be fucking hard. It's going to be hard.
That's
because
what she said.
Yeah, because when Chappelle Show came out, the way things were in society compared to how they are now, it's slightly different.
Yeah,
it's slightly different. So we are figuring out how to nerf the Chappelle Show enough where we can say things and that we're not going to get fired.
Yeah,
and I look, it's easily done. It's easily done. We're so looking forward to it. We know this material so fucking well.
Oh yeah, and it's time we did a deep dive because
we love Chappelle Show. Chappelle Show has it's so fucking funny and it's so good and it's such a part of our sense of humor.
And at the end of the day, what was he trying to do? He was trying to illuminate, the racial issues of this country in a humorous way
through entertainment.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he did it.
I love Chappelle.
Yeah. So we're going to be talking about probably the first 3 or 4 episodes of the first season of the Chappelle Show.
Yeah, we haven't figured that out.
Yeah.
We definitely decided, because as you can see above Jason's
The Sacred Chappelle Show.
we have our original DVDs.
Yeah.
So
it's all this wee shit we're talking about.
I have the original DVDs also.
Okay, good.
They're in my fucking flyaway kit.
Right. Which, by the way, it is on Netflix.
Is it?
Every episode is on Netflix with the exception of the Ron Jeremy episode, which is fucking stupid. Fuck you, cancel culture.
I have the DVDs and I also have it on through Apple.
Okay, perfect.
So I have it all sorts of ways.
We will talk about the Ron Jeremy episodes when it comes to
yeah, for sure.
But I mean, we're gonna break it down a few episodes at a time. And yeah, next week we're gonna do the first break of season 1 of Chappelle Show.
And then after that, we're gonna do 90s trivia.
Yes. And then
who knows? I don't care.
No,
it doesn't matter.
Fuck. Oh, Vegas. We're gonna do our Vegas episode before my Vegas vacation. And then we'll probably do the Bad Batch. So that's what you have. Want some crack?
I smoke rocks, Joe Rogan.
Oh, Wonder Bread Mold Man brought up Weird Al and UHF. We could do multiple episodes on Weird Al.
Mm-hmm.
I have so much history with Weird Al Yankovic, going to his concerts. I've seen him in concert 3 times with UHF, the movie, and everything else. So, yeah, that's
someday.
Yeah, that's a huge possibility. Not in the next month, because the next month is all spoken for. But, yeah, that's that.
I smoke rocks, Joe Rogan.
So,
Charlie
thank you, everybody, for
the 5 fingers say to the face.
Slap. Thank you, everybody, for watching on the YouTube. Thank you, everybody that's listening on the show. Stay tuned. As we progress over the next few episodes, we'll let you guys know exactly where we're going to be. Again, we're going to one stream for the Sidebar Cantina.
Yep.
It's going to be a single audio feed. We'll let you know what that is as it gets closer. Don't have all of that ironed out yet, but we will.
Hence why we're taking a few weeks to make sure that it's right. We want to make sure it's right.
And I just want to end with a big thank you to all of our loyal followers, the people who have been with us from the very beginning, the Bronco Fets, the Orange Jacket guys, Shotgun Marks, Isaac Sipes. Who else am I missing?
Don and Brady.
Oh, Don and Brady, the Luna Girls and Dragon Buddies of the world. I know I'm missing a lot of you guys, the regulars, the people who have been listening to us from the very beginning of the All Things Star Wars podcast.
Yep.
You guys are still the reason why we do this. Even though we're changing names, we're keeping it the same. We hope you stay with us.
Yep.
And until we speak again, everybody and Dave, may the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you. Okay, now what do I click? I gotta pee.
All right. And I will export the audio. Export audio.
It's still kind of light out. Isn't it fucking crazy?
That's weird, man. Still getting used to this new way of doing things. ATSW episode 165. Raw. Doing it raw. All right. Let me try to catch up in the chat. Mr. Frump in the Iron Lung. This is what I hear him say. Do, do, do. That's right. I know me some Weird Al. Oh, so according to Bronco Fett, Stonebleeds is the biggest Weird Al fan. Well, Stonebleeds, how many times have you seen him in concert? That's what I really want to know.
Chappelle Show.
Used and Abused is glad that we're rebranding. Fuck your couch, N-word. Buy another one, you rich motherfucker.
Bitch. So the plan that I came up with, which I hope will work, is to replace the N-word with bitch.
Okay.
So if we're doing like a skit, because bitch actually it hits the same way. Essentially, like obviously doesn't have the same meaning, but we can say bitch and not be fucking
fired,
not be fired, and not be honestly that there's no reason for, like, it's a bad word. We say a lot of bad words. I don't have a problem with it. I don't have any business saying that word. I just don't. So, but I'll say bitch.
Yeah.
Bitch. That might be offensive to bitches. That's our word. Wish I had more thumbs.
So I can give those titties 4 thumbs down.
I am yeah, that's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough to keep that dialed back to a point where we're good. But
and I kind of feel like we need to talk about this from the perspective of today. I mean, we can talk about our memories, we can talk about how funny it is, how good it is, the message behind it, but at the end of the day, it might have to be sort of like, would this fly today? Like, you think about the Clayton Bigsby episode.
Yeah.
It
wouldn't. It absolutely wouldn't. And that's what I'm looking forward to, is talking about see ya, Brady.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to talking about how in the Squadron, like how Chappelle was kind of like, it was universally known. Like, we watched it on the jet.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
it was kind of like I don't know. It was just one of those things that everyone was on board with. Everyone found funny. And it was a product of the time, I guess. Whereas now
it's so weird to think that something like that wouldn't probably fly today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is, but yeah, we'll figure it out the fuck out.
Yeah.
Did I see Al's recent appearance on?
So yeah, apparently
we're still talking about Weird Al.
Yeah, apparently Stonebleeds, Orange Jacket guy, is a huge Weird Al fan.
Yeah,
he's seen Weird Al in concert more than I have.
That's pretty insane.
Yeah, no, I can respect that though. So we'll have to do an episode where we talk a lot about Weird Al, but that's going to be in the future at some point.
Yeah, maybe we can have him dial in.
Sure. Yeah.
Get a Weird Al, because I'll tell you what, it's good to have, like, where Dave isn't strong. It's probably good to have like having Big Sweet here taking over the show
for Nirvana when we did that.
Nirvana. Yeah, I could not speak to Nirvana with nearly as much passion as he could.
Yeah,
which you probably say for a lot of things. So I'm not trying to write myself off the show, but it's definitely.
What do we even need Dave for?
Yeah,
we'll just have a guest. It'll be Jason and the guest.
Yeah,
Jason and the guest.
I don't think it would be as fun.
No, not at
all. Eddie Murphy, Delirious and Raw. Yeah, I do. I want to do an Eddie Murphy episode also, because the same for the same reasons, like it wouldn't really fly. Like, can you imagine Delirious and Raw coming out now? Like even Richard Pryor, like think Richard Pryor, like in this day and age,
Yeah.
Where I mean they're African American, so they a lot of the things that they were saying, they have every right to say.
Yeah.
But today, like, would that opinion, like, would it polarize people like things do now? It's tough to know.
Well, you got to think about it. Even Chappelle today gets flack because he doesn't give a fuck.
Right.
Like he still does the shit that he wants to do.
Right.
And sometimes the shit that he says does not resonate with the woke far left. Case in point, the transgender stuff. He made some fucking Caitlyn Jenner jokes in one of his Netflix stand-ups, and they tried to fucking cancel him. Which thankfully Netflix saw the light, because I'm sure they made fucking millions of dollars on the back of fucking Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
And
with as far as like Eddie Murphy, you think about in Raw when they're talking all the gay jokes.
Honestly, I got to go back and rewatch that, because the only thing I really remember from Raw is the Rocky stuff, right? When he was talking about going to see Rocky in the theaters and the fucking how it made the Italians feel like they were all like big and bad, and
that. Yeah, we'll have to. I think if we do like we'll do Eddie Murphy as a movie one, and we could talk about generalized body of work and specifically about his. Because that's how Delirious and Raw came out, right? It came out as movies, like because you figure at those days
there was no streaming.
Yeah, there was no Comedy Central. You know, there was you did like HBO specials or you did like live albums. Like shit was still albums.
Yeah,
dude. Speaking of, it's completely different. But so Kathy and I sat down to watch TV the other night, and there was a thing on Netflix. It's like Monty Python, like behind. Like Monty Python or something. So it was like basically interviewing the guys from Monty Python.
Sure.
And we're like, this will probably be funny. We watched it for 20 minutes. It wasn't funny.
No.
It was, interviews with the guys, but it was just like, and my father was a crappy dad and blah, 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 blah. Like, I was like, I'm like, we sat there for a while. I think Kathy was like, is he into this? And I'm sitting there like, is she into this? And then finally it's like, are you into this? Like, no. All right, fuck this. We're going to watch something else.
Yeah. And that's one of the beauties of being with somebody for so long.
Yeah.
You can kind of get that vibe from the person. It's like, I don't think they're into this. I'm not really into this. Yeah. We might just be able to cut this off right now.
Yep. And which is what we did.
Yeah.
She had me watch. I don't know if she's listening. So she put on last night this Time Traveler's Wife thing I brought up before the show. And so here's a couple things from the Time Traveler's Wife that, I mean, ordinarily, all right, this is not a normal Dave movie, right? So
first of all, I just want to say I love any time travel stories.
Right.
Time travel stories are my shit. So go ahead.
It made me think about the why of things. So I'm doing all this like astrophysics, like kind of cosmology, like listening to these audiobooks, right? And because there's a part of my brain right now that's like, because of mortality and everything else, I'm trying to figure. There's a part of me that's trying to work this problem of like the why for everything, not just like why. I'm talking about the big why, and I'm a reasonably intelligent human being, and I'd like to think that like I want my brain to process it to a point where I feel comfortable with it in some form or fashion, whatever that looks like. For now, until my fucking ADHD fucking kicks over and Time Traveler's Wife, basically a big Doctor Who episode stretching out in the movie. Like,
ooh, you lost me at Doctor Who.
Yeah, I'm not a Doctor Who guy, but so it's Amy Adams and like looking.
You had me at Amy Adams.
Yes, and so from a time travel perspective, there's a lot of why in this particular film.
Okay,
because he is a time traveler, right? He allegedly is the only one, and then he makes another one, right? Spoiler alert. he has a kid with Amy Adams, right? Who
Okay.
also can time travel.
Okay.
Okay. Not a huge spoiler, but it probably is. Sorry. Anyway, it's been out since fucking 2009. Go fuck yourself. So, but what's funny is like, so I sitting there and, for Kathy it was like more of an emotional thing because of the relationship and everything else. And for me, I'm sitting there and I'm trying to piece together the why. Like, why this one guy having this one thing and him still, like, he still dies, right? But at some point, he's able to time travel to a point where he was dead. Like, he should be dead. But he was able to time travel to a point where he's like he's traveling to a point in the future that he would be dead. So it's very like, because what I want in a time travel movie is I want something linear, right? As linear as it can be. Sure. Because I think of how can we do this? How can we time travel? Like, what do we know that we can do? What possibly from some quantum mechanics can happen where time travel is feasible, right?
Right.
Some interdimensional thing where maybe you're like, because it's impossible to travel faster than the speed of light, but maybe if we're bending space-time to a point where you can actually make something through another dimension, like maybe the wave, maybe what dark energy is another dimension, and that's what's creating this other thing. Like, the dark energy that works against gravity is actually another like the gravity of another dimension.
Sure.
Right. And maybe those things if you can go through the one to get to the other, then now you're
right. You're talking like the different quantum timelines, basically, is what you're.
Yeah. And
because I think Michael Crichton did that in his book Timeline, I want to say, where it was, they weren't traveling back in time necessarily. They were traveling to an alternate quantum universe at a different point in time in that different universe.
Yeah.
So whatever they did in that universe didn't affect where they were.
Yeah, I can see that, but that's not what this movie, like Time Traveler's Wife, wasn't doing that. It was definitely more of him like jumping back and forth between periods of his own life.
Sure. Okay.
So it really, and it came down to like, why? Like, so if he kept traveling back, if he was alive at some point, like this wasn't some fever dream or anything else, right? He was actually like time traveling, had some genetic fucking defect that allowed him to, he couldn't control it.
Oh,
so he would just boop, like quantum leap style, fucking boop, and be gone, right? And then he would go to certain areas. And the problem with this movie is I'm fucking hyper analyzing it. Like, I want to know why is this dude, all right, where is he? Where did he go back to? Okay, that obviously has some impact on it, but why did he go at that particular moment? Then it's and he jumps back. And then like there was not enough continuity from a time traveler's perspective to make me fucking be like, oh, okay, I can kind of put this thing together, because again, I'm ruining it. Whatever they're trying to just portray from an entertainment standpoint, I'm ruining by the fact that I want continuity in the time travel.
Yeah.
And I wasn't getting it. So I'm sure it was a very good movie, and it had Amy Adams in it. So like, there you go. But all it did was make me think about time travel. And like I said, I'm listening to Neil deGrasse Tyson again talk about astrophysics and some cosmology thing, and I'm like trying again. It's a problem that I have processing power dedicated to trying to figure that out. So I'm taking little bits of input where I can, and fucking just to feed that subroutine working in my brain. And yeah, you wonder why I'm tired all the time. It's probably because I've got too many.
Your brain's going too fast.
I got subroutines going, and I can't maintain normal fucking thought because of it. What the hell is Idaho Transfer? We had a KC-10 crew in Boise, the other day.
Yeah.
Apparently they rented scooters and went around.
Huh.
So it's a good town.
I think he mentioned that Idaho Transfer was a bad time travel movie.
Oh, was it?
The chat. Yeah.
Oh my god. What's loved NDT? Oh, Neil deGrasse Tyson. Yeah. I was actually trying to do his voice in the car on the way over here because I thought it would be good. I have to work on it. Like I can't get that deep. because it's very lyrical and deep, and it's tough to do. I should do that Seinfeld episode that happened backwards. We're not ever going to do a Seinfeld episode, are we?
I don't think we had anything fragged, but I enjoyed Seinfeld, and I do like the backwards episode. That was actually very clever.
There's a lot of clever episodes. I will give you that. I've timed out of Seinfeld. My father-in-law watched a lot of Seinfeld.
Yeah.
So I saw a lot of it, like, whenever.
It's one of those things kind of like Friends, where I don't think Friends holds up very well. Like, I was big into Friends when it was out, but trying to watch it now, it's like,
yeah, because I realized what I was actually into when I was watching Friends. I was into Jennifer Aniston and Courtney Cox. That's what I was into. Yeah. Now, I could give I was the same way. Fuck.
Lisa Kudrow. I didn't care about her either.
Didn't give a shit.
Yeah. No, I was never into her.
No, and I think it had a lot to do with the fact that she was portrayed as being dumb as a sack of hammers.
True. Yeah. Like I don't need stupid people in my life. Yeah. Be it my dick in her or not. I can't do stupid people.
But I mean, I think that's what Friends was at the time too. It was like, hey, we know what we're doing. We know what we're doing. We're pulling these people in because we have these hotties fucking portraying the characters.
And that's fine. That's whatever. But I mean, today in 2021, I couldn't watch it.
Mm-mm. I can barely. I can't watch Seinfeld now. I really can't. It's very cringy. Except for the Keith Hernandez episode. I love that. That one's actually really good. Yeah, Rick, you missed. We didn't. Well, it wasn't a time travel episode. We just happened to be talking about time.
Yeah, travel. I don't know how we got into the time travel theme.
It's because Kathy had me watch the Time Traveler's Wife.
Gotcha.
We watched Time Traveler's Wife, and then I started talking about quantum physics.
Yeah,
poorly, because
better than I could have.
I have this fucking image in my mind that I am a multiverse. I'm of the multiverse persuasion, where there's like the explanation to dark matter and dark energy has something to do with the fact that there's alternate universes.
I could certainly get on board with that.
But that's a whole nother. That's a level of nerddom that would be curious to do on the show, and how many people would actually sit here and listen.
I don't know how we could even like have a structure for a show like that.
I don't know. Start out with a lesson on what dark energy isn't. And then,
but who even knows? That's the thing. Like, it's almost all theoretical at this point.
Well, for sure, for dark energy, it is.
Yeah.
But we can tell you that it's not. It's not gravity,
right?
But that doesn't mean it's anti-gravity.
Yeah,
it's just so fucking ethereal.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anybody left in the chat? Shit, we still have 11 people in the chat
hanging out. Yeah, so Kate's boyfriend is doing this. I think I talked about it on the show. He's doing this experiment up in Greenland involving neutrinos.
He's there now?
No, this summer.
Oh, okay.
Astrophysicist, doctoral candidate, just real fucking humble about it. But like studying those neutrinos and like what waveforms and shit that they're talking about, and they need to be in that extreme cold to be able to perform the experiments. And it's like, it's fucking fascinating, dude.
Yeah,
it really is. The irony is that as I get older and I'm getting dumber, I know I am. Like, I know
we all are.
I know my fucking this fucking 3-pound ball of fucking fat that's controlling the mech suit that is me. I know that my processing power is dwindling. I can really stand for a fucking memory update, but that's not going to happen. I'm stuck with the same amount of RAM that I have now.
I just wanted to point out that pretty much this entire episode, they've been bringing up carrots, potatoes, and knives.
I know they have.
Do you have a knife on you?
I did. I pulled a knife earlier.
Okay.
I did it for the benefit of the chat. You'll hear it in the podcast. You'll hear the knife opening.
The fucking episode. The episode where you pulled the fucking knife on me when I was wearing the tank top. Oh my god. Somebody look that up. Find out what episode that was. It's still on YouTube.
Yeah.
That was when I was home on a break in between Mississippi and Texas.
Yeah, because
right?
you brought the fucking tank top back with
I brought
you.
the tank top back. I wore it for the episode that we did here in the studio, and Dave pulled the fucking knife on me, and he was ready to cut the fucking thing off of me.
In fairness, it's not like I specifically brought a knife to do that. I always
Well,
have
he
a
always
knife
has
on
a
me.
knife, yes, but
So I just was going to use it to effect.
Yes, in this instance, he actually pulled it on me. So if anybody can find that episode,
That's fucking great.
because I think some of our latecomers, like Lunar Girl and Dragon Buddy, they probably don't know the reference, right?
Maybe not.
So
I mean, they've gone back and looked at some, funny story about this fucking knife, right? So we had it sharpened. Like Dutch sent it in for me because it's an auto knife, and I didn't feel like dealing with the fucking, the legality of it. So he sent it in, and I was while I was busy this weekend, right? I got a new grill. And after I did the tiller and everything else, and I had the fucking Lego hands real bad, I'm like, I want this grill together tonight. Right. So I specifically bought a grill in the box. I don't need some other fucking schmuck putting it together. I'll put it together. And when you can't fucking use your hands and it's dark, like it's very frustrating to fucking put a grill together. So at one point I'm so fucking tired. I'm so tired. It's like 9:30 at night. I'm trying to finish up this grill, and I'm cutting off a zip tie. And I did exactly I have good knife discipline, but just this is how accidents happen, right? And I fucking slip with the knife and stab myself in the fucking right here.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And thankfully I was already pulling back, so it only just got the tip, I don't know if you can
just
see
the tip.
Yeah, just you see it on my fucking
just
fat
to see how it feels.
Yeah, and it was like when it hit me, I'm like, oh fuck, this knife is so goddamn sharp. Like that could have went really deep, like right into my right over my fucking heart. And thankfully it didn't. But it was like, you know what?
Yeah.
This is why you shouldn't do shit when you're tired, man. So yeah, I've well, it's not the first time I've stabbed myself with my own knife, but dude, I hit a fucking this one day when I was younger. I was trimming down a fucking tree that had fell, and I was using the hatchet, and it fucking hit like a knot where I don't know, I'm chopping it, and it hit a knot, and it bounced up like this, and it was like I couldn't control it because it had bounced up with such force, and when it came down, it went boop, right into my fucking kneecap. And it made a hole like this deep. Like it was one of those really deep fucking wounds where it doesn't bleed. It just like this clear fluid comes out.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. It was fucking good. And I'm standing there looking at it. And I think my mom had come to the door and was like, similar to my fucking neck story the other day. And my mom came to the door and was asking, "Are you all right?" I'm like, yeah, I'm all right. It's not bleeding.
Yeah.
And it didn't. I packed it with fucking gauze and put a Band-Aid on it, and
that was it. Holy shit.
Yeah, I have a good scar there.
Wow.
But yeah, because just
that's fucking hilarious. So it was either episode 67 or 68 of the All Things Star Wars podcast, where you pulled the knife on me. Because I'm looking back and I can see where we're doing the remote episodes when I was in Mississippi. Then there was us in person, and I'm wearing the fucking gray and pink tank top in 2 episodes, 67 and 68. And then it switches to me being in Texas. So yeah, it was either episode 67 or 68. And 67 has the most views. So that might be the one where he pulled the fucking knife on me.
I love it.
I'm gonna put a link to this in the current chat.
Nice.
Paste. So that's one. And let me go back. It's probably 67 because that was the first one that we did live after I had been in Mississippi.
Yeah, because I was trash talking that fucking it. The tank top became a thing of like Jason doesn't have to wear it today, but he's wearing it anyway, just because it's fucking annoying me.
Right.
That he's wearing it every goddamn day.
And you have to listen to the episodes leading up to that when I was still in Mississippi and we were doing the remote episodes, and I was wearing the fucking tank top every week.
Every fucking week. Like I think it started with like, dude, are you doing laundry? Like, is that clean?
Right.
It's like, yeah, sure. No, it was not.
Mm-hmm.
At one point. It probably still isn't clean. And then Kristen was supposed to fucking have a covert op to actually retrieve said tank top. And unfortunately she failed at her mission.
Right.
So then the tank top ended up going to fucking Texas. Yeah, there was a whole thing. The fucking tank top. Yeah. Tank top of justice that's hanging out.
And now it's on Vader.
On Vader over here.
It's underneath the Boise State Broncos banner there.
Oh god, it's so fucking funny.
There with the Michigan hat. So Vader is all decked out in all of the all things Star Wars history.
Yeah, and potatoes and carrots. Like that episode. That was a remote one as well.
Well, the potato one, yeah, because you were at your house
and
Kathy came down and threw a fucking potato at you. Because you said some smart ass thing.
Yep.
But God, I'm trying to think.
Forgetting I was within fucking shooting range.
Right. That was probably while I was in Mississippi too, right?
I think so.
Yeah. And then the carrot came about because I was posting gym selfies while I was in Mississippi. And Kathy, for some reason, had this idea. She was going to Photoshop like me in a carrot costume. And that's where the carrot came from.
Yep.
So that's your origin for carrots, potatoes, and knives. Was that 6-month period where I went to Mississippi and all kinds of shenanigans happened.
Episode 67, about 10:40 into that episode.
Dude, Scott is on it.
That's right.
Hold on, let me I've actually got that episode up, so let me.
That's what she said.
I tried. 67 10-minute mark. I gotta pull this up now. So
you gonna put it on a big screen?
Yeah.
So we can all enjoy it, Jason. Suppose it's just you.
Oh, maybe I can share my screen.
Oh my god! Look at us.
I know, we were so young. All right, let me see if I can share screen.
What are we gonna do for the audio?
I don't know, but can you guys see this? They might be able to hear it. All right, so we're probably talking about the tank top right there, honestly.
Look at the lack of pops. It looks so weird.
I know, right? We still got the Star Killer Studios. Oh, that's when we had all the Last Jedi stuff up because we didn't know what was going to happen with that. Okay, hold on. Where are we in the time mark? All right, so we're at 9 minutes. So, oh man,
why does it seem like so with the singular camera? It actually reflects how close we are to each other.
It's more accurate. It's a more accurate description of what it looks like in the studio because the table's the same.
Yeah, it's the exact
table
same
is the same. It's just the background is different now.
It's so funny.
All right, so we're at 9:50, so it should be happening within the next minute. So I guess you were already retired at this point because you still got the goatee going on.
The beard attempt.
I was not nearly as buff as I am now. I had a lot more hair on my body.
Fucking tank top. I'm sure is riveting for the.
Yeah, well, this is the after show. Whatever. All right, so I'm referencing the tank. Oh, here we go. This is where I'm backing up. I'm like, jeez. Like, I really thought he was gonna fucking cut the thing off of me at that point. Because at some point, you'll have to go back and you'll have to listen, but I'm sure I was being a smartass in referring to the fucking tank top at that point. And I was just kind of like digging in.
Yeah.
And Dave's like, no, fuck this.
No, I'm done.
Good shit. All right, I'm gonna stop this.
That's funny.
So there you go. Episode 67, about the 10:50 mark. Thank you, Scott. All right. Probably a good time to close this out.
Yeah, let's do that.
I gotta post this and drink some more water and get to fucking bed. So
yeah, it's been a long day. I gotta do it again tomorrow.
Indeed.
Blah. Bye, everyone. Thank you for coming along for the ride.
Yep. We love you.
Everyone's still in there. Bag of carrots was supposed to represent a bag of dicks. I like that.
Yeah. And again, we're not going anywhere.
Nope.
Nothing's really changing.
Nope.
The players are the same, but the names are all this changing.
Yeah. Barely.
Right. Exactly.
Because it's already something we used all the time.
Yep.
So anyway, thank you all for coming.
Connor Ferguson.
Get to the chopper. I'm mixing my movies now.
Yeah.
All right, guys. See ya.